What's happening, everybody? What's going on, everybody? Happy Saturday. Appreciate y'all being here, rocking with me. Thank you, as always. It is another beautiful Saturday morning. Little supposed to be cloudy all day, but the sun is peeking out through a lot of these clouds, man. We all right. We all right. I think they said it's going to rain the next couple days, so enjoy today. Um, let's see here. Make sure this is rocking, and rocking. I always got to check this now to start these shows because internet be tripping, man. I don't know why I'm spending more money for internet and it's working. I don't know if it's working worse, but it's definitely not working as that much better than I thought it would be. It's interesting. Everything's a racket. All right. Okay. Yeah, I think it's good. All right, let me see here. Let me get this up in the back because just in case it's going up and down or dropping, I like to check the signal while we go. All right. All right, cool. Okay. All right, guys. Well, like I said, thank you for rocking with me. I appreciate y'all being here. It is a pleasure to wake up and be able to talk Knicks with you guys once again. No matter what, I want you guys to always remember we're still Knicks fans. Okay? And I apologize for being a little late, but you know what? I had to eat something. Had to make sure I ate breakfast. And that's a message to you kids out there. If you're watching, eat your breakfast before you get upset and go in on Leon Rose and the Knicks organization. That's always the key. Keep that through the rest of your life. Anyway, so first off, let me take care of a couple things, say a couple things, and then we can get into why we're here today. So once again, thank you guys for being here, rocking with us. It's a beautiful Saturday, and we're all blessed to be alive. I want to give some shout outs to the chat. Appreciate you guys. I see y'all. El Survey's in the building. Good to see you, El Survey. I feel like I haven't seen you in a couple shows, man. Thank you for rocking. Brooklyn Butch is here. Thank you for being here. Oh, salute. Walter Blackman Jr. is in the building. He moved into his new house yesterday. Congrats, Walter. Enjoy that, brother. Hope that everything comes along slowly, but you get it right, get all moved in and squared away. Yeah, man, definitely enjoy that. Onward and upward is I think Steph said for her show title yesterday. But that's the way we should think about life, man. Let's keep moving forward, keep going up. Appreciate you, brother. Captain and Coke 70 in the building. Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. Ron Sarmiento is here. Don P is in the building. Don P, yeah, it's been a minute for you too, man. Definitely, if you're here, hopefully you free, you can jump up on the panel, man. Haven't chopped it up with you in a minute. Good to see you. D's World of Hoops, my guy D Poetic, aka D is balling, aka D's World. You know what I'm saying. What's up, brother? Good to see you. What? This is this a new person in the chat? Stephen Hewitt. Yeah, okay. I see. What are you guys doing for your 50-year anniversary? Thank you. That's cute. Oh, by the way, I know him personally, so he's just messing with me. That's okay. Nice. Thank you. JJ's in the building. What's good? Kareem Grant. What up, twin? What's going on, brother? Knicks fans Brazil. Victor is in the building. Victor. Almighty Finesse is here. What's good? Visions is in the building. Salute, brother. Savage NYC is here. Judah, my rightness is in the building. What's going on, brother? Hard Will is in the building. What's good, Hard Will? Angel Torres is here. Appreciate you. Let me see. Worldwide L is in the building. Appreciate you, brother. Wacko in Brooklyn is here. Appreciate you. All right. I got through the early heads. Appreciate y'all, man. Thank y'all for being here. And as I always say, once again, salute to Hard Will and Worldwide L. If y'all haven't checked out their show, man, it's a good one, man. It's been real lit lately. You know why? So definitely check it out. It's called 4. That's right, the number 4. OUR. Love of the game. Check them out on YouTube. Get them some subscribers over there. Get them likes up. All that, man. They deserve it. Appreciate them. Wesley Robinson is in the building. Dwayne Dennis is here. Okay. All right, guys. So the other thing I wanted to say is, Ajay and White Falcon are here. What's going on, fellas? Tom from Huntington in the building. Appreciate you guys. So what I wanted to say is, once again, a shout out to my guy, Simeon Russell, the podfather from Nothing But Knicks, NBK in the building always. I thank him for reaching out to me and allowing me to partake in the event with him earlier this past week. It was a beautiful event that Moynihan train station held on behalf of the New York Knicks. So it was a real fun time, cocktails and some food, and being able to chop it up with John Starks, which was dope. If you guys don't know, John Starks is my favorite Knick player of all time. So just the opportunity to be there to meet him in person. I mean, I met him once before in the street. I was walking and I just happened to be listening to my music, and I just looked and I was like, I know that face. As I got closer, I was like, oh, and it was, it's one of those things, everybody tries to be cool. When you see a celebrity, you don't know how you're going to act. You're just going to give them the head nod or what? But when it's your favorite Knick player of all time, I had to at least stop. And I said, hey, man, thank you for everything you've done for the Knicks. Appreciate you, brother. Because he was walking with his wife hand in hand, arm in arm, should I say. I wasn't trying to, interrupt or bother him. I just wanted to say that. I was like, how I don't know if I'm ever going to have this opportunity. And that was like, I don't know, maybe 10, 15 years ago. Who knows? But yeah. So it was dope to go there and meet him in person. He gave me he signed the autograph. He autographed my shirt that I had, and he, took a picture with me, and real cool, man. He said a couple words. He's a dope soul, dope spirit. And everybody who was there was saying how cool he is. Like the people who work for the Knicks were like, yeah, man, he's one of the coolest. And I you can see it. So it was definitely a dope experience. Shout out to NBK. Shout out to the Knicks. Shout out to Moynihan train station, rail yard. And definitely shout out to Starks the Dunk, my guy, John Starks. This is when I need a soundboard. This is when I need claps and stuff. I'm sorry, guys. D, I got to talk to you. All right. Sherwin is in the building. Salute, Sherwin. Appreciate you. Boulevard 73 is here. Louisiana Knicks is in the building. What's going on? All right, guys. So look, let me say this first because I don't want people to get it twisted. You guys saw the show last week. If you tuned in, you saw the scenarios I put up there. You saw that I put 3 different rosters. One with the current Knicks roster without Donovan Mitchell. And I put up a second roster with Donovan Mitchell, and keeping RJ, keeping Randle. Obi was gone. Fournier was gone. But everybody else is pretty much here. We added Carmelo Anthony to that second roster, right? Then the third roster was moving on from Randle and RJ and just building with Jalen and Donovan and having Carmelo and stuff, just filling out the roster, but building forward with that unit. And from those 3 rosters, most of you guys picked roster number 2. You wanted to have Donovan, Jalen, RJ, Randle, Carmelo, pretty much all of the Knicks adding Carmelo and, for the most part. And I picked roster number 1, if you remember, which was the roster that did not include Donovan. Because in my mind, I'm like, we got to get these young kids right. I want to see them play. I want to see if we actually have something real here that we can sustain before we go out and grab a star. Because if you get a star, then most likely you're taking minutes away from the kids to see if they can really contribute. Some people say, oh, the Knicks played these young guys last year. They had opportunities, they had moments. Did they really? Were they in clutch situations and crucial situations against the starting fives of the other teams? Were they used to run the offense through them, or were they just complementary pieces to help fill out what's going on the court? When you didn't have something for RJ, when you didn't have something for Randle, then whoever, Obi or quickly had to take over. I'm talking about using these guys so that we can see what they can really do, taking their game to the next level. Don't just say, well, run around on the court. Game goes through these three guys first, and if they can't find the shot, they'll pass it to you and you can jack it up. No, I want to see how they are used. So if Jalen is on the bench getting a breather, I want to see how quickly does his thing with a starting four, the rest of them, or some combination of that. If you find a way to get Obi on the court, I want to see how Obi rocks with the starting, unit, how he can maneuver himself. Is he in better spots? Does he know how to break down his opponent better? Is his shot a little bit more consistent? Is he more aggressive to the rack? Is he dunking on people? Not just dunking when nobody's around on fast breaks and leaking out. I want to see more. I want to see more. So when people keep saying the kids are playing and we know what they got, listen, I know you think you know what you got, but if you're going to play a young player in the right way, you got to give him every opportunity if you believing in him. It's one thing to draft the player, bring him into he was the best talent available. We already have a really good team, and we brought him in to help complement. That player is not a player you're looking to showcase or fit. You're not saying that player is going to have to step in really soon. No, because you already have a good team. The Knicks don't have that type of team. It's okay. It's not a good team, like, a great team. So these young players, you might need to depend on them at certain moments. So they have to play more. They got to play differently. You got to get them incorporated and involved. This is what I'm talking about. So that's what I mean by you still got to play these young kids and put them in. This is a make or break year for these young guys. It's put up or shut up. That's all it is. I don't know how anybody looks at it differently. I don't know how the Knicks organization could look at it differently. These young guys got to get out there and play, and we got to see what they got, because you know what? You've been dangling people out there for a minute, but you're also saying you want to hold on to the talent, cultivate the talent. There's certain guys like Quentin Grimes you don't even want to put in trades. You want to take him out of trades. So Quentin Grimes better have an opportunity to ball this year. I better see Quentin Grimes getting a good amount of minutes so that he can show me something out there. I know he wants to do it. I know he felt last year that he was told to do certain things, stay in the corner, just be available for a shot. This year, he's trying to take his game to the next level. He's trying to get into the paint more. He's trying to do a little bit more facilitating. He's trying to be a bigger focal point of the offense. So guess what? I need to see that. I need Tom Thibodeau to let me see that and let Quentin Grimes do that. If you're going to want to keep this guy, if Leon Rose wants to keep him, then he better be a focal point of this offense in some sort of way. He don't got to be the number one, the number two, the number three, but he better be a strong four or something like that. You better feature him when the bench comes in. If he's coming off the bench, Quentin Grimes better be a part of that offensive unit in a special way. I need to see something from him. That's the type of stuff that I'm talking about. Like, I don't have an issue with now let me get into the other part of it. I don't have an issue with Donovan Mitchell not being here. I'm okay with it. Did I want Donovan here? Yeah, why not? Donovan's a good guy. He's a good basketball player. Yeah, he may be light on the defense, real light, but on the offensive end, he's a special talent. You can't take that away from him. And him being on this Knicks team would have definitely elevated us. We won't necessarily be a contender, but we definitely could be a playoff team and have a shot at getting into the playoffs, getting into maybe even getting out of the first round, possibly. You never know. But that's pretty much where we stand. The East is it's very tough. I'm okay with that. And Donovan's a New York dude. Of course I would have wanted him. He's a Met fan. I'm a Met fan. He would have been on the Knicks. Come on, man. And then people are loving the narrative. Oh man, Spider in the city. Could you imagine all the Spider, Spider-Man references and cartoons and all this stuff they would have been doing? It would have been dope. But guess what? I also want these kids to play. I also want us to see what we got. So I don't want to cheat the process either. I feel like bringing in Donovan now is cheating a step. However, when you got a guy out there that's a star type player, you got to take advantage of. So that's why I'm like, okay, if you're going to go get him, go get him. Here's where we run into a problem. Here's where I have an issue with what Leon Rose and the New York Knicks did. And once again, don't get me wrong. If Leon felt the price was too high for Donovan, you don't do it. I get it. You don't mortgage the franchise, don't mortgage the future. Just because a guy is sitting there, you want to go get him, but you don't want to put yourself in a bad situation for years to come. Fine. That's okay, guys. There's nothing wrong with that. Here's the problem. Now that all this has happened, we find out the type of deals, the different packages the Knicks may have offered, or what Utah may have asked for and the Knicks declined, right? So one of the major packages, and probably the best deal that the Knicks have ever offered to them, I'm saying, I think so, was they offered R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson, and 3 unprotected first-round picks, and Utah turned it down. Now, I know some people might have been flipping, thinking, what the hell? How could Utah turn that down? And one, why would the Knicks offer it? First off, this happened early in the process. I'm not guessing. I'm not speculating. You know it happened early in the process because Mitchell Robinson was signed by the Knicks. And so once he's signed, he can't be traded for several months. So you already know that this had to have happened before he got signed, which was early in the negotiation process. The Knicks were one of the first people to negotiate with them. This is one of the early offers. Utah obviously turned it down because they had just done the Rudy Gobert trade. They got a really nice haul, and they're thinking, okay, Rudy Gobert is this person. Donovan Mitchell is flashier. He's the offensive guy. We got to get more for him. So, of course, Danny Ainge turned it down. Understandable. Fine. But as I said, I think I said this on the Nick of Time show with Jay Ellis yesterday when I called in. I said if the Knicks had offered that same trade yesterday, say everybody was available, the Knicks had offered Utah, R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin, and Mitchell Robinson and 3 unrestricted first-round picks, you think Utah would have turned it down? I'm going to tell you right now, they would not have turned that down. They would not have turned that down. I don't care what anybody says. They would not have turned that down. So, whatever. That's a moot point. It doesn't matter because that offer was a long time ago. And then what did the Knicks do? They signed Mitchell Robinson and basically took him off the market. So maybe Utah and Danny Ainge felt a little way about that. Fine. Let's move on. Then, as trade process goes around, you see a whole bunch of different offers, and Quentin Grimes' name came up. That's when Quentin Grimes' name was hot. Like Utah apparently wanted him and blah, blah, blah. And we heard that he was in offers and all this stuff. Nothing materialized from that. Knicks pretty much rejected all the offers that Utah came up with, and Utah rejected all of the offers that the Knicks came up with. Then, all of a sudden, Quentin Grimes became the hottest commodity ever. Utah wanted him, and now the Knicks don't want to get rid of him. Now he has to be pulled out of all of these trade scenarios. Knicks are not giving him up. I don't know what changed. I don't know what happened. Don't get me wrong. I like Quentin Grimes, so I'm not mad at it. I'm just, what happened? I don't know. So then as this happened, now, mind you, at this point, none of us knew that RJ was included in these talks. This is before any of us even knew he was a part of the talks. We were like, well, as long as they don't want RJ. Oh, if they want RJ, we're not giving them RJ. We didn't know RJ was a part of the talks from the beginning. Who knew? Right? So all that happened. And then they're dangling all this. Then all of a sudden, RJ's in the mix. He is thrown out there, right? All these different trade scenarios. The Knicks are offering, RJ, maybe it's Obi or another young player, whatever, whoever it is. And I think Fournier, to help with the money. And they were offering 2 first-round picks, unprotected, and then 3 protected first-round picks. Utah turned that down. So we're obviously at a point of the negotiation is kind of like it's moving, but it's a standstill. Like both sides are not, that close. Knicks come up with another offer in which I think it's the same offer that they had initially given that I just mentioned right now with the 2 unprotected and the 3 protected. But this time they changed it, right? So it turned into 2 unprotected and another first-round pick that was unprotected, but the Knicks wanted to add top 5 protections on it, right? And multiple pick swaps, right? Utah turned it down. Okay. Hold on. Let me get a cup of this because I know it's a ritual. Yes, a little cup of Joe or Joanne, whatever you want to call it. It's pumpkin spice, man. It's pumpkin season. You got to get it. I don't know, man. I just can't help it. All right. So we're at this point, and mind you, this must have happened over the weekend, according to Woj. Like, this was the Knicks' final offer that they had a chance to put out there, where they were willing to give a third unprotected pick, but then they put protections on to make it another, protected pick. And apparently that Monday, which we know was just this Monday that just passed, they must have, Leon Rose gave Danny Ainge a deadline that, listen, I want to get this done by this point. If not, I'm going to lock up RJ and give him the money that he wants, right? It didn't happen. He locked up RJ. Now, mind you, the negotiation is still going on. From Utah's standpoint, they still want a deal, but they want it as close to possible as to what they want. So, one, the Knicks, last offer was rejected because it didn't meet what they wanted. Now you pull RJ out of it. So now that deal is even further away. So Danny Ainge, remember, Danny Ainge already saw it happen with Mitchell Robinson. He wanted Mitchell Robinson included in the deal. They signed him. Now you can't get Mitch for a while if you want to still do the trade. Now Leon did it again with RJ. So he's already pissed Danny Ainge off. They probably had some heated discussions going back and forth in the negotiation, but it's business, so they keep working. So Leon, is probably in a position where he's thinking, okay, no matter what happens, I'm going to have a chance to put out a final trade offer, and if it doesn't work, I'll walk away. Well, was he right or wrong about that, guys? Because you know what happened. Danny's like, well, listen, you keep thinking that you're, negotiating with someone who don't have the cards. So Danny goes and reaches, and I think this is where the narrative is crap. Cleveland pulled out of this negotiation, said they took their name out of the market. They weren't going to pursue him. And then all of a sudden, apparently, Cleveland, said that, they checked back in with Danny Ainge, I guess Monday night or on Tuesday. And then that's how the negotiation started again. Come on, man. You know how this works. Danny Ainge reached out to Cleveland and said, look, this is what I'm thinking. How do y'all feel about that? And that's how the deal got done. Whether they came back and gave a different offer, Danny Ainge is the one who reignited that negotiation. Y'all can believe what y'all want to believe. Okay? He was trying to stick it to Leon Rose and the Knicks. He didn't like the way things were handled. He said, you know what? I can get something that I'll be okay with from the Cavaliers. And even if the players I get, as more players I get back than picks, these players that they're going to offer up are pretty good. I'll flip them. So that's what happened, guys, and that's how we stand now. And the reason why I'm upset, once again, let me say this again, is not because we don't have Donovan Mitchell. I'm okay with that. I am mad because even though it looks like Leon was trying to do the best for the Knicks and not get fleeced, if you look at everything Leon did, Leon was trying to get Donovan Mitchell. That was his point. Because at any point throughout this month and a half, Leon could have said, this price is too high. Oh, I don't like where this negotiation is going. You know what? We really value RJ Barrett. We want to keep him here. I don't want him to be traded. I want to sign him and give him his money and go forward. Leon had over a month and a half to do this. Yet he still kept working on offers, still kept dangling, still kept, changing pieces. And RJ being the piece that has been in it throughout this whole thing. What I'm trying to tell y'all is Leon messed up. Leon was actually trying to get Donovan Mitchell. He was the point. It looks good that we can look at him and say, hey, man, he didn't want to mortgage our future. He didn't want to throw our young guys away like that. Danny Ainge was asking for no, Leon was ready. It's just Danny Ainge was not budging and just kept getting to a point where Leon couldn't crack that barrier. Danny Ainge wanted what Danny Ainge want. And then at the very end, Leon acquiesced. We'll throw in that third pick. And then what did he do? He tried to get cute and put protections on it. This is what I'm trying to say, guys. This is what I'm noticing with Leon Rose. I like the fact that they're frugal. I like the fact that they think a lot about what they're trying to do. I like the fact that Brock Eiler is giving them all the information they need to acquire these picks and get into a better position to make acquisitions or just to draft guys. What I don't like, this is like the third time I've seen this. Leon makes certain moves. He gets into certain things. You start feeling good about it. But at some point, I don't know if he overplays his hand, but he tries to get cute. He tries to get cute, guys. Right now, you had a point where what Danny Ainge wanted. You wasn't going to give him 4 picks for unprotected. So you said, you know what, I'll actually give him the 3rd. But you know what? I want to put protections on it. Let me put this little protection on it. That's defeating the purpose. You know what he wants. You're not going to give him his initial price. Meet him in the middle. You wanted to give up 2. He wanted 4. Meet him in the middle with 3 and get the damn thing done. All the hoopla, the pomp and circumstance, everything. I'm sure the Knicks PR team already had a whole bunch of stuff in the works. They had, Donovan Mitchell, blah, blah, blah. They had this. We're going to have this person here. Maybe they get some rapper or somebody. Maybe Fat Joe was going to be in the building, Spike Lee. They already had all this stuff in the works. Just to fall short and not get them when you're dangling your star young player out there. Y'all know Leon was really trying to get Donovan was in the plans, folks. It's not like it was an opportunity and he's like, oh, well, if it works out, it works out. No, Donovan was the goal and he botched the goal. That's what I'm trying to say. I'm okay with it from a Knicks standpoint, but I'm just telling you, this is our front office. This is our guy, Leon, and this is how he's moving out here. So we got to keep that in mind. The last time, and I'm sorry, man, my memory is kind of rotten. There's another thing Leon did where he got cute, and it's in the middle of these 2 time frames. But the first time he got cute, if you guys remember, was excuse me, when he drafted Emmanuel Quickley. When he drafted Emmanuel Quickley, they made it seem like Emmanuel Quickley was always the target. We knew about him from Kentucky. Yes, they did their due diligence. They knew about him. And they made it seem like he was the guy they always wanted. However, if you go back to draft, it's hard to do now, but if you go back to the draft time and see what was coming out in reports during that time, the person that the Knicks apparently were coveting was the young point guard RJ Hampton. Okay, RJ Hampton. Now this is where you guys can correct me if I'm not mistaken. I think Quickley was drafted 23 or 24. It was one of those, right? The Knicks had the 21st pick, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong, but whatever. The Knicks got cute and tried to trade down a couple spots to acquire another asset, another 2nd round pick, I think it was. And then they moved to 23 or 24. I think they had 21. They moved to 23 or 24, thinking that the way things were playing out, that RJ Hampton was going to be there. But right before the Knicks pick, RJ Hampton was swept up. I think it was Denver who took him. Yeah, I think it was Denver who took him. And then he wound up with Orlando now. And then they tried to get cute and save face and say that when they drafted Emmanuel Quickley, he was their guy all along. Listen, I watched that draft. I watched what was being said prior to the draft. I watched what was being said while the draft was happening. The Knicks wanted RJ Hampton. And then they try to get cute and say, like, Emmanuel Quickley was the target all along. That was number 1. There's a number 2 that happened, and I can't remember now. I just had it earlier, now I forgot. And then now with this whole Donovan Mitchell thing, the problem is at some point Leon tries to get cute. When Leon gets cute, things go left. Okay. I think I went on a rant long enough. Let me see if I can get some people in here. Sorry, guys. I just wanted to get that all out. But I also want you guys to be clear on, I'm happy with the team going forward. I'm just telling you that our front office messed up because they had other plans and it just fell flat. And now they're trying to make it seem like, oh, we had the best interests of the Knicks in heart. We're not going to give up all our guys and do whatever he wants. No, you were going to do it. It's just you played your hand at the last minute. It was loose. It was loose. You got caught out there. All right. So I put that in the chat, guys. The link is there. You know what? Damn, I was going so long. I didn't even hit the intro, baby. Let's hit the intro and come right back. All right, guys. Sorry about that. Yes. Man, I was on one for a minute there. But look, as I said, guys, I think there's some really good things that this Knicks team can do and surprise us. That doesn't mean they're going to go far. The Eastern Conference is a beast. It's an animal, and the better, the faster we accept it as Knicks fans, the better, because you know what, it puts your expectations in reasonable manner, a reasonable fashion. But that doesn't mean that the Knicks are going to be a pushover. Jalen Brunson and newfound money having RJ Barrett, Mitch getting his bag and working hard, doing what he's got to do. Quentin Grimes trying to show that he is more than what people think. Emmanuel quickly working on himself, getting bigger, doing his reps. Like, the Knicks may come out. See, the thing I like about this Knicks team is that underdog mentality. If they get that and they roll with that and keep that going, I'm all in for that, because that's what I like. That's when I know guys feel like their backs against the wall, like nobody's taking them seriously and they're going to shock people. I like stuff like that. That's good. What up, Don P?
Yo, what's good? What's good, Ron? How's it going, man?
What's happening? It's been a minute, brother. Good to see you.
Hey, man. Hey, I like I was telling Radiology in the chats, man. I had a few setbacks here and there, but I'm here now.
Well, yo, man. No matter what's going on in life, man, I hope everything's good for you right now, and I'm glad to see you. You know what? Just take it one day at a time, man. A lot of people want to give you encouraging words, but they're not living your plight. I'm not trying to do that at all. I just want you to keep your head up throughout everything, because I know I've been through a lot of ups and downs in my life, and so I just got to keep that positive energy, man, because things ain't gonna get better overnight. Sometimes it takes a minute.
No, yeah, for sure, man. It definitely builds character, no matter how old you are, So,
Facts.
Yeah, man. About what you're saying, as far as like the whole Donovan Mitchell thing, I love the team the way it is. Am I saying that we're gonna compete? No. I do think there's a possibility that we can overachieve, though. I think that's a possibility. And Emmanuel quickly, he drove me crazy with his shot selection, but he kind of showed me something at the end of the season. He
Might have lost you, Don P. I don't know. The thing cut out. Well, let me get my guy D in the building. What's up, brother? Oh, you're on mute. Oh, wait, maybe you're not connected. Yes.
Okay, let's try that again.
There you go.
There you go. Peace to the panel, peace to the chat. I hope everybody's well on this beautiful Saturday. Run. We got to take this one step at a time.
I know. I know. Well, let me let Don P. Are you good? You good now? Can you hear me? I don't know if I can't hear you.
Yeah, I can't hear him.
I don't know if you're on your phone or whatever. You know what, Don P? Why don't you do this? Why don't you try to see if you can restart your phone and come back in, and I'm gonna put the link back in the chat. Maybe you can join again that way. Maybe it just has to be rebooted or something if you're on your phone.
All right, we'll do.
Oh wait, no.
There it is. There you go.
There you go.
All right, so can y'all hear me now?
Yeah. You good?
Okay, that was weird. All right. But yeah, Did I cut you off anything, D?
No. It's your fault, brother. Go ahead.
Yeah, man. I just want us to just build the right way. I look around at other teams like the Raptors. I always put their names out there because, they have an impeccable talent for just turning dirt into gold, so to speak. You know what I mean? They spend a lot of their time developing their players. And I just want us to go the same route because yes, we're a big market team, but we haven't been able to attract free agents since I don't know when. And we have to kind of conduct ourselves as if we're a small market team in order for us to have sustainable success. We can't take shortcuts and keep going after stars and being capped out where we can build our own stars up, you know. And it stems from the front office even to the fan base. The fan base has a part in that as well. People said, "Oh, well, the fans don't get to decide." The hell we don't. If everybody's on the same accord about what they want the Knicks organization to do, then it has, even if it's a little bit of influence, it has some type of influence on that decision making, rather. And I'll land my plane there.
Okay.
D, what were you gonna say?
Oh man, I got a whole day for you. That's why,
I
Don,
bet,
you good?
I
You got everything off your chest? You good?
Oh yeah. I got that off my chest. I just wanted to open it up with that.
I got you. Because Ron, this is gonna end up like one of our conversations on the phone, but of course it's gonna be a lot shorter. Okay. Look, I understand why you're frustrated, and I get it. I know you wanted Donovan Mitchell. I know.
I'm okay with it though.
Hold on.
Go ahead.
I know you had him envisioned in the blue and orange. You had his number picked out. You might have thought about buying some season tickets. I get it. Okay, and I also get your concerns about the front office. Ron, you and me are on the same boat. I like what they've done this offseason, personally, but there are still many checks that have to be checked off on the checklist when it comes to this front office. And one of them immediately is going to be what direction you're going in, what's your vision, and can everybody collectively get into one vision? Because as we see, it's like it's all over the place still, right? And can you draft correctly? Because you will be drafted. And can you develop your talent, which you have right now on this roster? So they have a lot of questions, and there's a lot of things that we're going to have to see with them. This year, we're going to know whether they about it or not. Because you're right, they have played cute. I don't think with this trade scenario, but I think prior, like, for example, with the 19th to 17th pick, dude, you could have just gone Grimes and still had the 17th pick. So I see what you mean with that. And that's a very viable perspective that you have. But as far as the trade, you got to understand something. When the Cavs acquire Donovan, they're ready to be a 4th seed, 5th seed in the East this year. They have the possibility of having home court advantage in the first year with that roster. We're not. And then when you have the upside of Garland, that's only 21, 22 years old, and the upside of Mobley, we don't have a guy on this roster that has the upside that Mobley has at this point in time, right or wrong.
True.
Do we have a big? Look, we love Mitch in the paint and stuff. We were 5th of the league at opponents' points in the paint, right? But does Mitch defend perimeter ball, pick and roll ball handlers like Jared Allen does?
No, he does not.
Do we have a bench that consists of Rubio coming back now, Levert, Seti Osman, Kevin Love? They picked up that kid that you guys wanted, you and Prof. Oh, man, he's a big Khalifa Diop. They picked that kick a ball, and Cleveland's already shown that they could develop talent. And they still kept Isaac Okoro, that's going to be able to guard the premier perimeter players. They were a lot more equipped for this right now. our trade package was way better, bro. Especially when you do the science of the protecteds, it was a way better package. And I saw what Danny did. He cut a shot for the future with this is smart. And this is where players did matter. The picks mattered without a doubt. But now it revealed to us that players did matter as well, because Danny's plan is that he's going to take the Sextons of the world, the Marketins. Who was the other cat he acquired there? Abaji, right? Malik Beasley's, Bogdanovich's, Mike Conley's, and Clarkson's. And he's going to flip that for more capital.
Mm-hmm.
With the players we would have gave him, he would have not been able to do that. RJ had to get paid. If the Mitchell Robinson thing was true, Mitch would have had to get paid, right? And then Quentin Grimes is still in his second year. Doesn't really garner that like Sexton, because Sexton has been a 25-point scorer in this league already.
True.
So you have to see it like that. And that's why I think Leon was good in his stance and not kind of giving up the whole house and not looking thirsty and stuff like that. Because the reality of the situation is that good at his stance and not kind of giving up the whole house and not looking. Okay, you got to put on mute. Thank you. Damn, that threw me off. Okay, yeah. So in a position, it worked better for Ainge because he's still able to flip those plays, and it worked better for us because we would have been scrambling, dabbling, searching the ends of the universe for this superstar. That's never a position you want to be in. It takes a while to build teams.
Mm-hmm.
Jason Tatum made it to the Eastern Conference Finals his first year at Boston. It took him another 4 or 5 to get back there. And that was with Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Robert Williams III, okay? The Warriors, after their championship with Durant, it took them 3 or 4 years to do it. Giannis has been in Milwaukee, 10, 11 years now? And 7 of it took to build around him correctly. And then it took another 2 or 3 to get the championship one with him, with the insertion of Jrue Holiday. This takes time. Great move. Great no by Leon.
Okay.
I can get deeper with you, but you know.
No, I know. And yeah, no, I know. I hear you. Marvin, what's going on, buddy? How you doing?
What's good, Marvin?
Salute, guys. What's going on,
What's
guys?
going on, Marvin?
What's going on, B? Salute to the panel, to the chat. Just want to stop in for a second. See how somber I am this morning.
Yeah, I'm listening to that. I'm like, hey, okay.
Well, the reason I am is because I'm done with the argument. There's legitimate points on both sides. It's all where you want to be with this. I stated my point once or twice before. I just felt like, and D's just pointed it out, direction. And I just seen direction at the draft of where we were in the point of getting Donovan Mitchell, and we didn't pull the trigger. Okay. Now there's a light at the tunnel. We all know that. It's called free agents at the end of the season. I just had a list up and pretty good free agents. I'm not going to compare them to Donovan Mitchell, but it's not very many of them that compares to him. Now, in 2024, that's a different thing. But to everybody who's okay with what this deal did here recently, just be okay with the regular season that's coming up this year, too. No crying now. Come on now. Because you accept it. Oh, no, I want to give up everything. Well, don't come back in the middle of the season when we're losing and say, man, damn, I'm sick of this team. Please, let's not do that. These have stated it once or twice before. This is a process, and it really is. When you go this route, this is a process. So be prepared for the process. That's why I'm done with the argument. Okay, because I understand you don't want to give up everything, but you do want to change the culture. And I'm going to say this for one more time. If we'd got Donovan, we all know we needed another player. The next free agent we get, we're going to need another player then too, guys. And who's to say the next team is not going to be trying to get as much as the last team? If you're going to kick, I once was on a couple of panels and all they kept telling me is kicking the can. We don't hear kicking the can that often no more. But did we just kick the can, guys? No, we didn't. We didn't forfeit the organization or the future. No, we didn't. But who's to say that they're not going to ask for that in the next deal that we're looking for? Now, if we get a free agent, you can keep all the players and you just bring a player on. Was the direct way to go, actually. But your direction at the draft when you let Jalen Durant go was to do what you was looking for it to do with Donovan Mitchell that just passed. So don't tell me it wasn't, because you would have took Jalen Durant if you felt like he was going to go young. That's why I say I'm done with the argument. There are legitimate things to say on both sides. But are we so sure with everything that Leon says when we know he had packages? Well, you know what? I'm not even going to say that because, reports are reports, and we heard so many trade scenarios that didn't happen. And usually every time a trade happens in the NBA, you don't even know it's going to happen. Kyrie's been going to LA for damn near seem like 10 years now. He's still in damn Brooklyn. So if you hear about it, think about it. If you don't hear about it and see it, believe it. How about that? This trade, as well as the Cleveland, we felt that Cleveland was in this deal. From what we heard, they were out of the deal. Who ends up getting Donovan? Cleveland. So we don't know nothing. I'm just here to say this, guys. I'm sorry for that, Deez. I'm just here to say this.
That's good.
I can understand both sides. I know guys are happy we didn't give up the farm, and I know people are disappointed we didn't get Donovan Mitchell. But where do we want to be? You make your decision on where you want to be. You're okay with not making this trade, so be okay with the upcoming season. If you're upset about not having Donovan, think about the future, and could we have repaired it? I believe we could have. I just don't see the fact in starting at the draft by not picking up a player and then turning around when you get a chance to get that player where your direction was pointed, and then say, okay, I can do it later. Here we go with this later again, kicking the can. I got a couple of calls coming in. I just want to step in for us. I'm going to come back, Ron, but Deez, I cut for you, man. I cut for all of your analysis.
Appreciate it.
But I'm done with the scenarios, guys. We're going to go one way or the other, and we're going to accept it. How about that, everybody? Let's accept it. Because all the ones that were happy that we didn't do it, accept this season in case we start playing bad. And all the ones who wanted him, you got a right to say, now, see, I told you. Hey, I'll be back in a minute, guys.
No doubt.
All right. Sounds good. Sounds good.
Well said, Marvin.
Hey, can I say something?
Yeah. Well, hold on one second, Don P. Let me just get to a couple of these super chats real quick, if I can. I just had the other one. There we go. Thank you, Parrish Duggan, for your generous super chat. As always, appreciate you. He says, the Don is still the Don to me, letting the kids know they were almost traded. But since you weren't, let's go forward and this your role. Love it, bro. Okay. All right. I mean, I guess you're happy. And I know Parrish Duggar is big on, getting these young guys out there and developing them and giving them a chance to play. Nothing wrong with that. I'm okay with that too. Once again, guys, I'm going to keep saying it. I'm okay with us not getting Donovan. Of course, I would have liked having Donovan, but I'm okay with it because it's still what I want the Knicks to look like going forward before we get the star. I think it's, we were trying to skip a step, which it's okay. But it didn't work out the way it played out wrong in my eyes. I don't know. I just feel like the behind the scenes stuff, I think Leon, he got caught. That's all I'm saying. Or maybe it's not even that he got caught. I should say he put himself in a position where Danny Ainge flaked out on him. Because they had I think they had a very gentleman's negotiation, whereas the Knicks, and usually in negotiations where it's a situation where there's a something on the other end that only this person can provide you, that person gets right of refusal. Like, oh, so this is what you got from over there? Yeah, I'm gonna go back to you and let you know, and they have a chance because in the end, the person who was trying to acquire something wants the most that they can get. So it makes sense for Danny Ainge to go back to the Knicks just to see if he can weasel a little bit more out of them. But he didn't do that because he was upset. Because at the end, Leon pissed him off. But it is what it is. Thank you for your second generous super chat, Parrish Doug. Appreciate you, man. He said, hey, guys, stop I guess that's overreacting to Cleveland. No. Hey guys, you might have read it. You read it on your own probably. That's why you're seeing it again. Hey guys, stop overreacting to Cleveland. Marketing was a big part of Cleveland's success due to their size. Now we match up better man for man. Match it up 1 through 10. I mean, listen, maybe that's the case. I get it. I mean, my whole thing is, well, this is another story. We still in a situation where we got 11 guys that need to play, and Tibbs only plays 9. So, that's still an issue we're gonna have to figure out. And when I say 11 guys that need to play, I'm not even talking about Sims. Like, he's on the outside of that 11. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. We're gonna have to figure something out. But either way, I'm just gonna say that I think it was the best move. I think in the long run, we'll be happier that the trade didn't happen. But I'm gonna tell you something again. We gotta watch this Leon Rose, man, because this could happen with any scenario. Our next candidate that we go out there and try to get, he might get cute with them too. We don't get them either. We already don't get free agents that want to come here. I'm just saying, you just gotta watch what he's doing, how he's moving. So the plan for the organization, the way they're trying to do things is good. I'm with D when he said that. I like some of the things they're trying to do, but when you do decide to strike, while the iron's hot, when you decide to strike, you better strike, because then what's the point? What is the point? Like some people said, I heard someone say yesterday, it might have been Marvin. I don't know. I mean, Marvin reiterated it today. If you're going to do this and do that, and then you don't get Donovan, then why didn't you draft somebody with the 11th pick? Now we don't have another young player that we could have on the roster that might be an asset for us. Yes, I know picks got moved around, whatever, and then it was turned into the 13th and blah, blah, blah. But we still wound up with Trevor Keels.
That was a mystery.
I'm just saying, that's not moving the needle. But you know what I'm saying? Like, it's okay. All Knicks fans had no problem. You wind up with Trevor Keels. In the end, you get Donovan Mitchell. Oh, well, it was worth it. All right, it is what it is. But now you got Trevor Keels, and now you don't have Donovan Mitchell. So what did you really do? That's all I'm saying. I like it. It all, in the end, I'm just thinking the negotiation went on so long. If you're that invested in it, I think you got to get your guy. And you dangled out your best young player in RJ. You even put Mitchell Robinson in there at one point, and that was early. Imagine that. He put the 3 best young players out there early. He was like, listen, I know this is what it takes to get down. If that's true. That's the other thing, guys. We don't know what's true, even if it comes from Woj or Winhurst, whoever it comes from. We don't know what's true. But if they're saying that's true, Leon put them out there early, right away. So he was ready to get Donovan. That's all I'm trying to say. All right.
Before, hold on. We had to give up. Look, I didn't want to, but I think we're in a position to give up that lottery pick because of all the trash we were moving. And somebody had to take them on. So they realized the mistake that they made in doing that. And I hope they continue to realize and ship Fournier and Randle as quickly as possible. And I think that's why that first went. Because you notice it was attached with Kemba Walker.
It was. True.
Yeah. And don't forget, it was the whole thing about acquiring Jalen Brunson because they had to clear that in order for him to hop on.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, yo, man, take this, bro. Yo, man, we'll give you this first.
That's true. Maybe that's in the end, that's the bottom line. And so there was no way around it.
That's a fact. Well, to Marvin's point, I would say this to be fair. That season where we made the 4th seed, nobody was expecting that. Nobody. Like, we was all shot. And I felt like the plan that Leon Rose gave us in the beginning was, basically building brick by brick, building with the youth, and just doing things the right way. I'm not going to say that the fact that we made the 4th seed was a curse or anything. Respect to the ticket holders. But I would say that, I get why they made the mistakes that they made, which is acquiring Kemba Walker and acquiring Evan Fournier. And I feel like anybody who says, well, most Knicks fans who said, well, that was a mistake. A lot of people was pushing for Kemba Walker to be over Elfrid Payton. A lot of people were saying Kemba Walker was a upgrade over Elfrid Payton.
That's
You know
crazy.
what I mean? And was that the narrative, D, at the time?
I don't remember, but if it was, that's crazy, bro.
But that's what a lot of people were saying. A lot of people couldn't stand Elfrid Payton so much. They was like, yo, anybody is an upgrade over him. You know, regardless of whether it makes sense or not, that was the narrative.
Mhm.
And I feel like we was prepared to have a losing season when we made the 4th seed. Well, before we started winning, we was prepared for that. So the narrative of us being fickle to where, okay, yeah, we're gonna let the young kids play, and if they lose, be okay with it. What is the, like, if they overachieve, we'll be happy with that. But we're not expecting them to make the Eastern Conference Finals or anything like that.
No way.
We're not expecting that. We just want to see who we got. We're having conversations like Cam Reddish is this and that, but we haven't really get to see him play like that. We're having conversations that Obi Toppin is not ready, but we haven't got to see him really play like that. The only young kids that really got a chance or got a shot that I can't really talk about is Quickly, RJ, Mitchell Robinson, and Quentin Grimes to a degree, I guess, before his injury. That's about it. I want to see our kids develop. I want to see how they play, and I want to see who's actually good moving forward, and I want to see who we need to trash at the end of the day. We just haven't seen it.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's a good point. I mean, I agree with you on that. Paris Duggar said our 3 centers are one whole guy because of Mitch and Hartenstein, and are foul and injury prone. So is D Rose. We're perfectly staffed. And I need y'all to stop giving other teams so much credit. Listen, man, I agree with you to a certain extent, Parrish, but you can't not give other teams a credit if they have good rosters. Like, it is what it is. Like, Cleveland has a better roster today than they had 3 weeks ago. And if you look at the roster they had at that point that they played the season with, that roster gave us the business multiple times. One time they made us look silly. Okay, it was one of those crazy days, though. But I'm just
and if they were healthy, they would have had a playoff seed. If Jarrett and Mobley were healthy, especially towards the end of the season, they would have had that 6th seed.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. And then that's just what it is. Like, look, if you look top to bottom, as much as we say, like, you could say, and I'm gonna do this at some point. Probably gonna do it with the lower echelon teams very soon, where I compare the Knicks current roster to those rosters like the Wizards and whatever, you know, the other bottom teams, and see how we stack up and match up, like, you know, 1v1, you know, Mitch versus their center, blah, blah, blah. We're probably going to do that at some point. But for the most part, like, we already went through it multiple times. There's 8 teams that are better than the Knicks right now. It is what it is. Even if you want to say that 8th team, maybe the Knicks might surprise and you know, might get that team here or there, you know, whatever. It's still 7 legitimate teams that are better than the Knicks. It's an uphill battle. So you're gonna have to understand that credit is, you know, deserved where it's due. These teams got good rosters, and you know, the Knicks are building towards that. But we need to. I'm with you, Parrish, that these young guys that you know want to play need to play. There's no more of this, you know. Something has to change. I don't care how Thibodeau likes to run his teams and what makes a lot of sense for him going forward. You gotta switch that up a little bit. And part of that is they're gonna have to figure out a way to get rid of Julius Randle and to get rid of Evan Fournier.
Absolutely.
It's gonna have to happen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I also want to say that I'm with the whole idea of eating what you kill. Like, I'm with that 100%. I just don't like the politics that's thrown into that as well. You know what I mean? I really want the cream to rise to the top. And if somebody's better than the other through training camp, you know, give him a shot. You know what I mean? Just because the front office gave this player X amount of dollars, you can't play politics. For instance, Evan Fournier, you know, he played himself out of the starting unit in the first half of the season. And we was losing. So why not give, you know, other guys a shot if that's the case? Alec Burks, You know, he's always been a shooting guard for most of his NBA career. Well, I think all of his NBA career. We was losing anyway. Why not give Deuce McBride a shot? You know what I mean? Why not? Like, we're losing anyway. If I'm going to lose, I would be more upset if I'm losing with the veterans as opposed to losing with the kids.
Yeah, I agree with you there. And let me tell you something right now. I'm going to go out on a limb. I might as well. I got nothing to lose. If you are saying that a player is a deal breaker, mind you, you've thrown everybody else in there. You're telling me Quentin Grimes is a deal breaker, that you're not willing to trade him, then guess what? Either Quentin Grimes is going to be a starter for these New York Knicks, or I expect Quentin Grimes to be the sixth man off this bench. Like, if you felt that highly of him that you don't want to trade him and you think he's a valuable piece, then Quentin Grimes' role needs to be expanded immediately. Like, he's either got to be a starter or he's got to be the sixth man off the bench. I need to see him. I don't care if, like, I don't want to say like it has to be six man, but he's got to play 6 man minutes. You know, D Rose might be the sixth man if he's healthy, but he's got to play 6 man type minutes. I need Quentin Grimes to show, or you to show us that he's that valuable to you. He's a focal point. You won't take a guy out of a trade and then not play him. Oh, give Quentin Grimes 10 minutes, 12 minutes. No, that's ridiculous.
That would equate rioting, pitchforks, torches,
exactly,
bad mouthing, obscene gestures.
Yeah, all of that. So I expect to see a lot of Quentin Grimes. Let me shout out the chat once again. Appreciate y'all for being here. Thank you for being here. Stephen Hewitt in the building, as I mentioned earlier. Salute. Todd Paul is here. Feet Sports is in the building, friend of the show. What's going on, Prof? Sharice Duncan is here. King Poppy NYK is in the building. Comega is here. William is here. Danny Landis. What's going on, Danny? Francisco Carrillo in the building. Ajay's here. It's Me is in the building. We surveyed 100 people is here. Kevin Middleton is here. It's Me is in the building. Rayology. What's going on, brother? Cash Out James, gold all in my mouth. You know where it goes. Anyway, C. Cartagena is in the building. Boogie Down BX is here. Keith Turner's in the building. Our Future Media is in the building. Infamous New King is here. All right, Shot Powers in the building. My hat twin. What's going on, brother? Appreciate you. And Back in Biz 26 is in the building. Salute, salute, salute. And D-Raz, I see you. Thank y'all for tuning in. Appreciate y'all for rocking with us. I think I said be civilized, but if I didn't, I'm gonna say it again. Be civilized gets it twice. He's the dude. Appreciate you, man. So
I think Danny be pulling like 18-hour shifts, man. No lie.
Yeah, he said it right.
Yeah, man. Asleep, bro.
I don't doubt it.
Wanted to say something with Don P said. And this is something that we got to realize about Tibbs. If they're going youth movement, which they better, all the signs are there. Everything is indicated to go ahead and do that. Tibbs ain't going to be around for this, man. I'll be surprised if he lasts the trading deadline with this.
Yeah, so, right. 100%.
So Tibbs ain't an issue. And plus, look, we already know he's CAA family, baby. They shook hands in blood. They blood brothers and stuff like that. He will be relieved of his duties, and he will be in with the organization in some sort of capacity. But he will not be down with this youth movement. He'll have cardiac arrest, bro. He'll have like a coronary.
Yeah. You know what? I think it's like a blessing and a curse. Well, more of a curse with Tibbs as our coach right now. Because on one end, you know, he's a stickler for defense. And, you know, he's going to make sure that our guys don't have bad habits when it comes to taking plays off when it comes to defense. On one end. On the other end, if he don't like you, you're not playing. Regardless of your talent, you're not playing.
Right.
My old teachers used to tell me, worry about cleaning the crap in your backyard before you start worrying about everybody else's backyard. And if Tibbs has his type of biases towards people, whether he plays, whether he likes it or not, or doesn't like certain things he does, well, he better check the mirror about things that he does and things that have staggered him from being a great coach, and go ahead and work that energy on himself so then he can have better rosters. Because right now, as they've gotten older and stuff, as he's gotten older, his rosters have not panned out like that, like the way they did in Chicago. Just saying.
Facts. And shout out to Evie in the building. Appreciate you, Evie. Always love. Friend of the Ron. T. Smith is in the building as well. Thank you for tuning in. Appreciate you. So let's see. We got another super chat. Let me get to this.
Shout out to Kerry.
Kerry Cooper in the building. Thank you for your generous super chat. He says, I think when they put RJ in a trade, it was going to be a sign and trade, and Danny refused, and they signed RJ anyway. What's your thoughts? That's a possibility, because if you know, but like, I'm just not sure if Danny would have said no, because the Knicks really did give a very team-friendly type offer to RJ, even with the incentives and everything. But the actual base salary is a fair type deal, considering he was eligible for the max. You know, so I don't know if Danny would necessarily say no, because I think that, one, he could use RJ as his piece, right? Like I got to build with somebody, so he could either use him with as a piece, or he could flip him somewhere else. Because there's a lot of teams that coveted RJ Barrett. I know it may sound like the league itself is a little down on him in comparison to some of the other young stars or young athletes that not everybody's a star, but there are teams that like what RJ Barrett can bring. So maybe Danny could have still flipped them. I mean, you see what happened with Colin Sexton. He did the sign and trade with him, and Colin got 4 years, $72 million. Now, granted, that is a really sweetheart deal, but that's because he's coming off such a bad injury. If he wasn't coming off that injury, that money would not look like that. So, you know, but I think that, you know, you could be right, Kerry Cooper. That's a possibility. He didn't like the whole sign and trade aspect of it. But if we're going to believe everything that these guys are putting out here, like Woj, I mean, I guess Woj is the only guy we can believe, right? You're going to believe what Woj says. Even when the Knicks signed RJ, apparently that didn't take him out of the trade talks. Like Danny wasn't like, I'm not going to deal with you, you know, in the reference to RJ anymore because of that. So if he was still willing to possibly even dealing with a possible poison pill aspect of it, I would think that if they tried to do a sign and trade and send him to Utah, Danny Ainge might have still been on the table for that. So maybe not. But thank you for the generous super chat, man. Appreciate that.
Just to say something to Kerry real quick. Can you put it back up real quick?
Yeah. Hold on. Let me get it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, so that's a possibility. That's a big possibility. But at the same time, though, there is an unwritten law, Kerry, that when a team is acquiring a team's best player, the receiving team wants your best young player back in return. That's usually how it goes. So, you know, the fact that RJ is there, we know that already. But the side of trade thing, that I think it might go off that, because how would that help Leon in negotiations with that? And what would he need an extra trade piece for if he was already getting the grand prize in Donovan Mitchell?
That's a good point.
And my thing is, how much does the front office value Donovan Mitchell? You know, like, do they value him in the same way that we as fans do? You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, you're right, Ron. We did give him very team-friendly deals on one end. On the other end, I think that Danny Ainge was just on some stuff to where he was like, "Yo, the Knicks has a reputation for being fleeced. That's their history. I think they're just as bad as the Kings when it comes to that." On one end, and Danny Ainge has a reputation of fleecing teams. So I think he wasn't trying to be fair from the jump. You know, he wasn't trying to be fair from the jump. I think Leon Rose was throwing jabs at Danny just to see if he really would, you know, give him a fair deal in that respect. But Danny Ainge didn't bite on none of it. I mean, why would he turn down 3 3 unprotected first. Didn't we offer him 3 unprotected first round picks, or that was
Sure.
like
No, the furthest we went was 2
2?
and
Okay.
3. But if you do the science of the 3 protecteds later on, they're like unprotected, bro.
Yeah,
So
my
he
team,
actually gave up a sweeter deal with the Knicks draft package. That's why I'm not with the narrative that like.
Oh, you mean he declined a better deal with the Knicks draft pack because of the way those? Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah.
he sure did.
And see, and my thing is like, if not for his ego, why would he decline it? If there was no emotions involved within the whole thing, I think it was something personal against Leon Rose and the I don't know, the Knicks organization as a whole. I don't know.
The only thing I can think of is my bad, Ron. Be quick. The only thing I can think is the players, because he can flip Sexton, Marketing, and Obagi or keep him, depending. That it's a lot more of a balanced playing field with him on that end than it would be with the players if we had given them of what we were given, because he would have had to sign, or he would have lost guys for nothing if he decided not to sign RJ and stuff of that nature. So I don't think he was looking to take on contracts like that without it being able for it to be moved in the future or in the short future. So I think that had a lot to do with it.
I agree with that. That makes sense to me too. My whole thing is I'm just thinking that at some point these negotiations got a little testy. I think that they're both like Danny Ainge is already that guy, and Leon is trying to be taken seriously as the president of basketball operations in this league. And so he has to come in at a standpoint where he's not going to just acquiesce to people and do whatever they want him to do. He's got to try to, stake his own claim. And I think that in doing so, maybe things got a little away and, the negotiations started to get a little funky, and Danny Ainge maybe felt a certain way. And that's where we're at. Because honestly, throughout all of this, I still think Ainge is a little bit of a weasel. And I think that he was definitely using the Knicks to draw up the value of Donovan Mitchell to get the best possible deal he could get, and not necessarily deal with the Knicks. I'm not saying he wouldn't have done it. I'm just saying he was definitely trying to use the Knicks the best way he could to draw up the value, knowing that they're the only team that could really give the most that would be interested. Obviously, OKC could give the most without a question. Sam Presti could have got Donovan Mitchell with the blink of an eye if he wanted to, but that's not on their timeline. That's right. That's not what they want. So, yeah.
One more thing too.
Oh, my bad. Go ahead, D.
I'll be quick. That also too, as you saw, Ainge is very interested in 29 and 27. Knicks were not going to do that. Their stuff would have been a little bit more short-term based. I think maybe Danny was looking for the best of both worlds with that, and maybe Leon was thinking no, because just in case this all falls down, at least we got stuff to back up with. In the years 26, 27, 29, 28, stuff like that.
Yeah, I like the wiggle room that we have. We still have options. We still have assets. For all the fans out there that still want a superstar. I'm not with it, but for all the fans that still want a superstar, we still have the assets. It's not like we was acquiring Donovan Mitchell through free agency. We was about to acquire him through a trade. And we have the most assets out of any other team in the league. I'm talking via draft picks. And it's no telling how much more valuable the young guys is going to be, assuming that they get minutes. I hope Tom Thibodeau changes his ways. I really do. I really do. He can't teach old dog new tricks. I'm quite sure he's well aware of his weakness, and I'm quite sure he's well aware of his strengths. He has one more opportunity to show the fan base, to show the NBA world that he can adjust. He can kind of switch his colors a little bit while still staying true to, the defensive first coach that he is.
Yeah, I hear you. Shout out to the chat once again. Canal Ban Lauya in the building was good. He said Danny has always hated New York. That's not new. I mean, that is kind of true. Like there was a real love-hate thing of respect, but he hated the Knicks as a player. And when he was doing his little front office thing with the Celtics, not little, he was great at it, but you know, he wasn't a big fan of the Knicks. That's a history thing, but you know, it is what it is. It's business. Salute to Cully. What's good, Cully? Appreciate you, brother. Always good to see you. Let me see here. I want to get to AO. Salute to you. Appreciate you. I want to get to your question in 1 second. Let me just check if there's a super chat. I want to make sure I get that. Thank you for the generous super chat once again, Parrish Duggar. He says Fizdale, Wade, Ainge didn't like the Knicks' arrogance. There may be some truth to that. I don't know how things are played out, but if just the way the things have moved, you can see that there was some contentiousness there at some point throughout this negotiation. There was something going on there throughout this whole thing. And like I said, no matter what we don't know, one thing we do know is if you put somebody in a trade and we're going back and forth negotiating, and then you decide to sign him a couple of days later, now he can't be used in the trade while we're still negotiating. That might bother the other person a little bit. So the Mitchell Robinson thing, it had to bother Ainge a little bit. And then you do it again with the deadline, the ultimatum about RJ. I would think that bothered Danny Ainge a little bit. So I would say yes.
They're talking about our arrogance. What about theirs? They wanted 6 draft picks at first.
Yes, true.
That's
but the thing,
highest level.
Yeah, but the thing is, Don P, we knew that arrogance level was there with Danny from the beginning. True. We know he's the fleece king.
True.
You know, he's the fleece king of Coney Island. Like that's what he does. We knew he was going to be that way. So Leon, even being new to this type of negotiation, went into it knowing who Danny is. So it is what it is. Let me get to thank you once again, Parrish. We get to AO. Salute to you. Thank you for being with us. So what position will Grimes play with these extra minutes, assuming we keep the current roster? It's a very good question. Look, I think that what you're noticing is, remember that whole thing about positional interchangeability and flexibility that the Knicks were trying to put out there back in the Steve Mills days with Scott Perry? They wanted to draft guys who had size and height. Because if you remember, during that time when we had Marcus Morris, we had Knox, there was a couple other players size-wise. The Knicks had a little length. It didn't necessarily translate, but they had length. RJ was a good size. They were trying to do this whole positional flexibility thing. And I think outside of size, because some of these players that we have they don't have that size, I think the Knicks are trying to do a little of that too. Certain things have been thrown out there by us here. I know D said it. A couple other content creators have mentioned, it's a possibility that Julius slimming down obviously will help his game, put him in really good shape, but it might be to also improve his quickness. Maybe the Knicks might decide to try to play him at the small forward here and there at certain points. With Quentin Grimes, he grew up playing basketball as a point guard. Of course, he's not a point guard. He's far removed from that, and he learned to be a shooting guard. But maybe some of the stuff that he's working on, they want to be able to put him in a position where he plays a little of a Burks type role, which would allow him for more minutes. If your shooting guard is in there and he's healthy and he's playing good, but your point guard needs a spell, maybe Quentin Grimes can go in there for a little bit because you have interchangeability. He can handle the ball a little bit. So maybe they're just trying to figure out ways to get him on the court and keep him on the floor as much as possible. Who knows? You never know with the Knicks. But if I saw freaking Thibodeau play Alec Burks like half of the season at point guard, I would not put him past it that he's willing to do anything. So I'm just saying.
I like how you got our intelligence talking about he was the best option we have at point guard. I'm like, really? Really?
Hey. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? D, what do you think about Grimes and how they could possibly use him to get those extra minutes? Because we do have, remember, this is a perfect area of discussion because that's where the logjam really is. We have it at 2 spots, but that's like there's too much going on at the guard position.
If the logjam exists, Grimes is going to have to be fighting for his life to play 20 minutes a night. And because I even thought maybe at some spot minutes at the 3 might be an option.
Mm.
But not with Cam. Cam has to play.
That's a fact. He has to play.
And I hate answering a question like this because I'm just so hell-bent on getting rid of Evan Fournier to clear that so that I could see what these young guns have.
Mm-hmm.
And no excuses for Tom Thibodeau to play Evan Fournier because we were like on a 2-game winning streak and when our record's 8-10 or some crap like that. So, yeah, he would have to play for his life to get 20 minutes.
D, are you assuming that RJ will be moved to the 2, starting at the 2?
If what?
Well, the start of next season.
With the present logjam the way it is?
Yeah.
No, RJ starts at the 3.
Okay.
Yeah. Because you got to think about it, right? Look, RJ had his best. Thanks for the question, too, because you just burst the whole thing down. RJ played the 2 in his second year, right? And I thought that was his best year, right? So he averaged 18. He shot 45 from the field. He shot 40% from 3. I think he gave you 5 rebounds and he gave you 3 assists, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm.
So for his great efforts, he's rewarded with getting moved off to the 3 for Evan Fournier. And then to add insult to injury, you go and draft Grimes. And then I could even put Quickly on that matter too, because Quickly has developed, or he's developing to trying to be a point guard. But when he was at Kentucky, he was the 2. Sometimes the 3 because of his 6'10", 6'9" wingspan.
Mm.
So to answer your question, I think the dream, I would love to see RJ back in the 2 because that was his best season that I saw. But I think the way they drafted and the way the vision is going, at least how, as it appears and how it's constructed, I don't think we'll ever see RJ back at the 2. And if we do, maybe with certain types of lineups, but nothing exclusive.
Well, wouldn't that be a disservice to RJ? Because his Ron said it a few months back. He said RJ played his best at the 2 because he was able to outmuscle his competition at the 2 guard spot. Like that was his main strength. He was able to outmuscle them in the paint. And now you're going against 3s who's, primarily of the forwards. They're bigger than the 2s. So like, I don't understand how RJ is gonna thrive in the 3 position. I don't see it.
Well, you're gonna see it because they already set down the blueprints that way.
Yeah, and you know what? I think RJ. We talked about it before. Scenario whether Donovan's here or Donovan's not here. I don't see RJ ever going back to the 2 because the way this roster is constructed, I don't see how it can happen unless you start moving off of some pieces and then you draft or you bring in a a 6'8" type small forward that can really solidify that small forward position. So then you can move RJ back to the 2. But with all these other pieces like Grimes and Quickly and that, you trying to find spots for, how can RJ go back to the 2? He's taller than, and that's the other thing. They don't have height. He's taller than them. So he has to play at the high, the position where they need more height over these guys. So that, like, I just don't. I mean, I agree with you though. That's what I said. I think he plays better at the 2. The other thing is though, baby, if you have noticed, if you look at RJ in the offseason, RJ looks like he got a little bigger too. He bulked up a little bit more. So maybe he knows like this is what it's gonna be. Yeah. I gotta bulk up and get a little stronger so I could do what I want to do with these 3s as well. One thing he's not gonna be able to do is make up for the speed that he lacks. His foot speed is his foot speed, but he can get bigger and be a little bit more forceful and imposes. Yeah, he can do that. So maybe that's what he's trying to do. I don't necessarily like that. I'll let you go down, but I don't necessarily like that because I feel like the bigger and bulky these guys get up top, the worse it affects their jump shots. And these guys aren't like knocked down, splash water jump shot people to begin with. So when guys like Julius or RJ keep getting bigger, I worry about that. Now, that's why I'm kind of liking the fact that Julius is getting slimmer, because I think that might affect his jump shot. Maybe he'll be able to have a little bit more touch on it. We'll see. Go ahead, Don. What were you going to say?
Yeah, you struck me with the whole Julius thing. I don't forgot my whole thoughts and Nathan.
My bad, bro.
Struck a nerve with Julius.
Yeah, I know it's tough.
The thing with Julius is this, his strength from college, coming into the NBA has always been him out muscling dudes. Him like powering dudes in the paint, and for his stats and what he brings to the table, I just don't think it equates to winning basketball. Now, maybe his playing style could be different this season around. Who knows? Because he darn sure switched it up towards the end of his Pelican days. But just like the dude said on another show, just taking jab steps and pump faking all the time, that's not going to cut it in today's NBA anymore. It's not going to cut, especially if you're not efficient with it. So I don't know about him being more skinnier. I just want him to play his game, which is bulldoze himself to the basket. He's stronger than everybody on the court most of the time. So why not out muscle everybody in the paint and get yours and get your fouls and hit them free throws? Why not just make the game more simpler in that respect? Am I wrong to think that?
No, I don't think you're wrong to think that. But you know what? I think I had to take another look at Julius, and quite honestly, I feel differently about him now. Because I always thought Julius is known for bully ball, and we've seen it multiple times. But then I started to think, well, we already know Julius is not a very efficient scorer. And then I started to say, when he's bullying, how many times is it actually effective? Like, he bullies his way into the paint, then he gets under the paint and his shot gets blocked or gets altered. He got nothing left to do anything after that point. It's not necessarily an effective way to play ball. So I'm like, maybe I don't know, I'm overthinking it a little bit right now. Maybe his trainers or people in the Knicks organization, maybe they looked at it and said, Julius, you know what, why don't you try to cut a little weight, slim down, get a little quicker? Because they're realizing you like to play a certain way. Some people think you should be in the paint, but Julius obviously doesn't love to be in the paint. He goes in there when he wants to, but even when he gets in there, sometimes backing down people, he doesn't have a real good paint game, is what I want to say. Everything he's doing is like little baby jumpers or fallaways. He's always moving away from the basket when he's shooting instead of going to it. So if that's how you're playing, being bulked up and being stronger and bullying your way is not necessarily a good thing for you. If anything, maybe you should slim down, get a little quicker so that you can get past guys and get to the rack, or put yourself in a better position where your shot has a little bit more life on it. You're not as bulked up. You got a little bit more touch. I don't know. I just think that maybe they're looking at, and I do think that they might want to be able to use him in different spots at small forward or whatever. Just move him all over the court where it makes sense. Or even if you go small ball, maybe having him out there at the PF, being a little quicker. Maybe you could go small ball and put Obi at the 5. I don't think Leon. I don't think Tib likes that at all. I know he does.
I don't think Leon likes that either.
So, it's a chance that you just get a little bit more flexibility if he's slimmed down. Now, the other thing is, even with this is what I always like to say to people. I just never said it on the show. This whole slim down frame stuff that these young athletes and even the mature athletes come into basketball camp with, it don't last that long. They're not doing much. They're home. They have their good diet. They're able to regulate themselves. They're staying active, but they're doing it in the right way. When they get into the NBA season, they start going on the road, different places. For whatever reason, the weight comes back on. By the end of the season, Julius is going to look just like Julius of last year. So, we'll see what happens, man. But I don't know.
Here's another thing too, with the cutting of the weight, also helps him defensively as well. especially on the weak side, which he was like a slug every time having to get to the weak side and cover that paint.
That's a pro. That's a pro to it. I guess the way Julius plays, some people would disagree. He plays like a Melo. The way he plays, he reminds me of Melo so much. And when Melo's shots is not falling, what he does is he plays bully ball. And you're right, Ron. You're right. When he gets into the paint, he gets a shot blocked and everything. But if that's the case, then yeah, maybe he does need to slim down and I don't know, focus more on defense and cutting. I don't see Julius cut a lot. I don't see him cut. And I think that's an issue. I don't like the fact that he stands around waiting for the ball to come to him and take about 10, 15 seconds. I don't like the excuse of they'll look at the players around him. No, like you gotta cut. Like if you just standing around and you're supposed to have this high usage rate, what is your young point guard supposed to do at that point?
Well, this goes back to, our offensive system. Our offensive system is vanilla, man. I like vanilla, but not with our New York Knicks offensive system. It's just there's not enough movement. There's not enough back cuts, screens, curls, different things of that nature. There is a lot of the pick and rolls, the Spanish pick and roll, all that stuff. That does exist. That's Tibbs' money. But the back cuts, the screen, the backdoor plays, all these things, easier opportunities for RJ to the rim or Julius to the rim. I think the other thing I've noticed is even that, Julius is a good scorer. He can score. He can get the basketball in the hoop. And RJ finds ways to score. He has to work hard to do it, though.
Thank you for adding that in.
Yeah, it's true. Where's the go-to moves? Think about it. These guys, look at Julius and look at RJ. They don't got go-to moves that are unstoppable. They work hard to get their points. So why not make it easier? It's not like you're dealing with someone like a DeMar DeRozan, where DeMar DeRozan's got his moves. Don't care who's on him. He can get it off, and it's a high-quality shot. These guys don't have that. So if you're Tibbs, make a system where you get your guys easy opportunities, because at some point, I know, D. I know.
Yeah, I'm thinking the same thing.
I know.
Let's go to every 70-year-old person on the planet Earth and just start asking them to change everything they've done for 70 years, bro.
But see, this is why I don't want it to be from Tibbs. This is where you want the front office to step in and give Tibbs an asset. I don't know if Rick Brunson can be that asset, because Rick Brunson is a good basketball mind. I don't know how good that mind is in regards to setting up offensive schemes. He may not be able to orchestrate the stuff because he was never that player. His son is a way better player than he is, but he may know what to do. Someone needs to help this offense going forward and give it little wrinkles so that it can look better, because on the surface, it is not impressive, and we don't have the talent necessarily to make it look impressive. So you got to figure out better ways to make this offense run. I will say that when I'll get right to you, Don. I will say that you guys remember the start of last season, how the Knicks came out in those first couple preseason games. Knicks was looking great, right? But that's because it was fresh. Everything happens when you try to do some new things, new curls, new wrinkles, all this stuff in the beginning. Guys buy into it, and then they get set in their ways. Back to what I'm used to doing as a Knicks player. This is where I like my, this is my spot here. This is what I do. But in the beginning, those first two preseason games, Knicks looked like they were flying. They were moving all over the court. Of course, the shot was falling too. That's fool's gold. But everything was working. It looked great. We haven't seen it since then. That was like 80+ games ago.
Let me say one thing real quick, Don, before you go. Is that with Julius and RJ, you're right. They don't have go-to moves. They have what's called go-to tendencies. Meaning that when Julius gets stuck, his go-to tendency is a step-back jump shot. It doesn't matter what the hell it is. He's going to step-back jump shot. Okay? And RJ's go-to tendency is to put his head down and go left. So, yeah, I agree. They got to get out of that phone.
They really do, man.
Well, do you think that, like, you guys know the X's and O's to the game? The Chicago Bulls, back when Derrick Rose got that MVP, was y'all familiar with Tom Thibodeau's offense at all? I'm not. That's why I'm asking you guys.
Where? In Minnesota and Chicago?
Well, Chicago specifically.
Yeah.
Back when he had a lot of success.
Well, he ran things a little bit differently there because your roster also dictates on the principles of how your offense comes out. But Tibbs has been more stingent as he's gotten older. He runs a little bit of things. He runs a little bit of motion. He runs a little bit of triangle. But from what I've seen since his Knick tenure, he hasn't really fully explored the details and the options of what those offenses present. Like I'll give you a perfect example, right? An easy one. When they ran a pistol, right, which is part of the triangle offense, you would have to use Julius Randle in the pinch post because he's a good passer and he could take his guy off the dribble in the mid-range area. He
Right.
never used them that way. So when they ran pistol, Julius was never in a pinch post position. He was like always looking somewhere, being a part of the handoff action. It was just weird. So I don't know, man. I think Tibbs is getting old, bro.
Yeah, I think that's definitely the case. He is very set in his ways more than ever. And I think, the Knicks, I don't want to say it in the wrong way, but I feel like the front office tolerates it. And because how can you tolerate what a great basketball? I would say he's a great basketball coach. Maybe not playoff win championship wise, but as far as regular season, he's a great regular season basketball coach, and he deserves to have that respect. But I think the Knicks front office might tolerate it a little bit more because we've had so much ineptitude at the coaching position for years, and at least we know Tibbs he knows what he's doing. Whether or not it works for this team is another story, but you can believe that Tibbs has a plan, and if you put the right pieces, if you give him the right pieces, he'll make it work if you give him the right pieces. That is why I think they kind of let things go or they acquiesce. But really, something's got to happen. Somebody's got to step in and say something. And because I tell you one thing, look, you can see it. There it is. Still Knicks fans. I'm still here, folks. We still here. But if this year looks like last year, a carbon copy, if I start seeing these young guys not playing again, if there's a situation where guys are hurt, whether it be health and safety protocols or you have a limited roster, and I see him trotting out, Hartenstein, say Mitch is out, and you got Sims on the bench, and Hartenstein is playing like 40 minutes, he's not going to Sims. I am gonna lose it. I'm telling you right now, I'm gonna lose it. So,
in all respect, Ron, I heard Hartenstein is that dude though. I heard he's like
he could ball.
Yeah.
Hartenstein is a very good role player that can help this team, man. The only problems you got to worry about with Hartenstein is the fact that he does get in foul trouble. He gets a little aggressive sometimes, and he runs into those issues. But he's a pretty good shooter, inside the paint. He's not a 3-point shooter. Don't get that twisted. He's a pretty good shooter, good scorer, should I say, for his size. Very good passer, excellent passer for his size, and he's above average defender. Not great, but he's above average. Probably, I would say, putting him on this team, he's maybe a step better than Nerlens Noel as a defender. Noel was a better blocker because he had great anticipation. But as a defender, Hartenstein might be a little bit better than Noel with regards to, because he can guard the perimeter too. Like his defensive rating stuff showed that. So, yeah, it's a very good pickup for them. Shout out to my guy, John. Still Knicks fans in the building.
Sure, John.
Appreciate you, brother, as always. Deshaun Wilson, what's going on, brother? Appreciate you. He said Tom Thibodeau devalued our assets as much as anything because he didn't play the young players. I definitely think that didn't help. It didn't help. So, Ashley Inc. is in the building. What's going on?
It's good, Ed.
He said, salute. I am more pleased that the drama is over than frustrated that we didn't get Donovan. I think we are 6 to 10 wins better than last year with Brunson and hopefully IQ plus improvements from others. I probably agree with this 100%. I know it doesn't seem like it because, like I said, guys, I like Donovan Mitchell. I liked him as a player before the Knicks were even considering him. I wouldn't have been mad if he was here. I just think that if you're going to put all this effort and time into getting him, then you better get him. Oh, which is going to lead me to something else I'm going to say right after this. Let's hoop. First off, let's hoop. I don't think I've seen you here before any of the shows. So if this is your first time, thank you for being here with us. Appreciate you. Hopefully you like the content and keep coming on back. He said, based on what the offers to Utah were, it seems like they value Grimes a lot. That tells me Fournier is gone. If not, Tibbs will continue to play him heavy minutes. That is 100% facts.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And thank you for being here once again, man. Dripmore in the building.
Drip.
Still Knicks fans exclusive.
man.
What's going on, brother? Rome Far Rock is in the building. What's going on, Romy Rome? Appreciate you, man. Thank you for being here. So, as I said, that spurred something when he said that about Fournier. Oh no, maybe it might have been that. Oh, anyway, what it spurred was, okay, we didn't get Donovan. No big deal. All right, we move on. I don't like the way it played out, but okay, that's it. It's over. I'm glad it's over too. And today will probably be the last time I talk about Donovan Mitchell in depth ever again, unless something changes. But I'm good. I'm ready to move on.
Well, you're not done.
Great news.
Ron. It's all right, man. You're not done grieving. It's all right, bro.
No, I'm good, man. But I will tell you, not for nothing, this is weird because I honestly, I swear to you, if we didn't get Donovan, I would have been okay. I just didn't like the way this played out. It gave me a bad feeling. And then once the news hit that Cleveland got him, it didn't even bother me the first day. I was affected the next day that for whatever reason, I was thinking about it and it bothered me. Now, this is weird. I'm not equating the two, guys. I don't know how you guys feel. Maybe it's because I'm in my 40s now. Things are different in life. I'm just going to say this so maybe you understand what I'm saying, but don't get it twisted. I don't want to get all political. I do not care about any of this stuff right now. When Donald Trump got elected president, right? Everybody had made Donald Trump to be out to be the boogeyman, and whether you like or dislike him and his principles, that's not the subject. I'm not talking about that. This is what I'm telling you about my feeling. I swear to you, when I found out Donald Trump got elected that night, I felt sick. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's just because you feel like all the stuff that's been happening, you think this is a really bad thing. I kid you not. I literally felt sick. Like I was having some issues. My heart was racing. I was like, what the hell is wrong with me? I don't know. And I'm not saying I felt that way, but yesterday when I thought about this, for whatever reason, I felt bad. I was like, what the hell happened? And it's because the Knicks were so invested in it that I feel like even if he's not the right move, because it might affect other things, I felt like the Knicks had to get him. And everybody thought the Knicks were going to get him. Even the people that don't like the Knicks were like, oh, yeah, the Knicks are probably going to get him. So it just didn't play out right. It didn't look good. That's all I'm saying. All right. So I'm all for that. Anyway. Okay, let's see you, Danny. Danny said, Ron, I knew we weren't getting Spider. We can never close the deal. Thank you, Danny. This is what I was going to say next. We can never close the deal. I heard when LeBron was free back then, he met with the Knicks, and I heard the Knicks presentation to him was terrible. I don't know if that's true, but I wouldn't put it past it because you know what? You saw, I think there was a NBA TV. They were talking to Grant Hill, or maybe it was another program. But anyway, they were talking to Grant Hill, and he mentioned how they botched. This is obviously different front office guys, but whatever. How they botched their presentation to Grant Hill. Like Grant Hill's there with his, I don't know if she was with him, but the point is, no, she was with him. Grant Hill is there with his wife Tamia, and they start talking about the nightlife and how there's so many different options out in the city, different places you can go, and these places are all places that like a single person would be interested in. Grant Hill did not like the heat he was getting from Tamia. Tamia didn't like, oh no, nah, New York is a little too wild. So they botched that too. The front office has not done the greatest job of putting together packages and pulling out the red carpet. And really, they haven't shown us they could do that at ever. You want to say they bring in Carmelo? Carmelo got traded here, and if he had a chance to be here, he was coming regardless because he wanted to be here. Nothing the Knicks was going to do to really wow him or woo him over. Jalen Brunson had every connection in the world. Godfathers, all the types of stuff happening. Jalen Brunson was coming here. So really, when you think about it, has Leon Rose and the front office showed that they can close a deal for a star-type player? We haven't seen it yet. It has not happened yet. So that's where I'm telling you, this is why this show is what it is and why I'm saying what I'm saying. I'm like I said, I'm not as upset about us not getting Donovan. I'm upset that they were trying, like they really were trying. When you put out these players, you want to get them, and they couldn't close the deal. Like at the 11th hour, they do something crazy. It's not crazy in the fact that it doesn't make sense. I'm saying it's crazy in the fact that when you already know what Danny Ainge wants, either you're going to do it or you don't, or just walk away. You know what I mean? He could walk away.
So
that's what I'm
my question to you is that what do you feel that cozy the deal would have looked like on the Knicks side?
I think that if the Knicks had just offered that third, because they were already going to do multiple pick swaps, right? If the Knicks had just offered that third first-round pick without adding the protections, I think the deal would have got done. Making it a top 5 protected pick after you already just gave him an ultimatum and signed RJ, I think that was just too much. I think at that point, Danny was like, okay, so now you finally want to give that extra pick, but you want to put protections on it after you just, I think he was just like, nope, that's it.
Yeah, but if you look at the protections, though, they're going to translate.
Oh no, it doesn't. I know it may.
So what I'm saying is that if my point is that if Leon was willing to give up 3 protected, right, and then you read the protection clauses of the protected, and if the future, if they act like like they're going to be lottery picks, which they are, right, that's a better deal. They get into 2. They get into 2 unprotected because they're getting the 3 unprotected because. 1, you don't know when that third protected was going to translate, and number 2, what they were going to give him would have given him a nice line of having multiple picks throughout 24 to 27.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I think the deal changed in the way that so when they were offering the 2 unprotected and then the 3 protected, that was the deal that we talked about. Those protected picks are a lot better than it seemed. So that was one deal, right? Apparently, the most recent deal was he was adding another first-round pick that was unprotected by the Knicks, but they were putting their own protections on it, making it a protected pick. So it had basically been 2 unprotected, 1 protected, and multiple pick swaps, which I guess that's very favorable, depending on how that works, right? So he was adding an extra pick, but then he put protections on it because it's not like one of the protected picks that we acquired from like Washington or Detroit. He was adding a Knicks pick and then he put protections, so he was changing the value of it.
Mm-hmm. I get it.
And I think in essence, to me, that first deal that we were offering with the 2 unprotected and the 3 protected seemed like a better deal than even that one that he was just offering. But for whatever reason, that's where I'm going from. If that was the case. If you're going to do multiple pick swaps, just give them the 3 unprotected. You know what I mean? Because I don't know what multiple means, but it goes from we thought that it was going to take 3 unprotected and 3 protected to get the deal done like a couple of weeks ago. We thought that's what it was going to be. Mm-hmm. Leon basically changed it. And, it was going to be instead of giving them the 3 unprotected, he wanted to put protections on 1, and then it's multiple pick swaps. So it's not like we're automatically giving you another 3 unprotected. It wasn't done that way. It's multiple pick swaps.
Yeah, I get you. I get what you're saying. I just think at the end of the day, I think they might have felt that the third one might have put them in a position because if they have to go out to the ends of the earth to go ahead and get this next star or superstar, because you would have to get something that's going to be better than Donovan Mitchell. I think it would have left them hampered with nothing because they already would have gave up the protecteds and stuff like that, and they probably just would have been stuck with just seconds. And If you work this for 4 or 5 years and it goes down the toilet bowl and you have nothing to work with, you're effed for the next 7 to 10 years.
Yeah,
Just saying.
Yeah, I agree with you, man. Don't get me wrong. I think that they should have figured out a way to either get it done or walk away. But I just think when you drag this whole process out, when you got the whole NBA, not that it matters, but I'm saying that is what the narrative is. Remember, a lot of everything that happens with the New York Knicks is all about narratives and how people perceive the media, how the rest of the NBA looks at the Knicks. When it looks like Donovan Mitchell is going to the Knicks, like they're the front runner, they got all the assets. They're the only one who can really meet Danny Ainge's price, no matter what. That's interested. And you don't, after all this negotiation, you don't come out with Donovan. It just leads into the narrative, especially for the fair weather Knicks fans who don't really, get into basketball as much, that just like happen to look at the Knicks game here or there or whatever. They're all of them are saying right now, same old Knicks. That's the narrative, same old Knicks. And then the media is going to run with this. And then, wait till we get into the season. Yeah, wait till we get into the season. It's going to be that same old thing. And they're going to try to, bring up the negative about the Knicks organization throughout the whole season. Watch.
Oh, no, you're 100% right. Hey, Ron, you're good, bro, because I had something that I was going to talk about later. And one of it was that I think it would be in the best interest of the front office this year, considering that narrative you were just talking about, because that's not the narrative for the fan base, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That's the narrative from media personalities. That's the narrative from ESPN. That's the narrative from celebrities. That's not the narrative with the fan base. So to shut them up, this is what you do. And this, if they're listening, which they usually do, I advise you guys to do this. Talk to the 700 Chiefs you have inside the kitchen and come up with this. It's good to lose this year if that's the case, and not try to win, because then that narrative dies. If you go ahead and say, "Look, listen, we decided that we're going to start from the ground up. We're going to develop our young guys. We're going to work to the draft." Nobody going to say anything now, because what do you go? Oh, you said you can't win, and then the narrative will be, "Well, of course he can't win because he's developing talent and he's looking for the draft." As opposed to trying to push hard heavy, like Tibbs will probably do with Julius Randle, right? And Jalen Brunson's ball usage is like 37, 38% or something like that. And then you're trying to squeeze out these games. That narrative is going to continue, because then it's, see, should have gotten Donovan.
Right.
You won't say that if you know that you're heading towards the lottery. So if I was them, that's what I would do.
Facts. I can agree with that. I can understand that. If this is the case and the Knicks are trying to play these young guys, and by playing the young guys in this stacked Eastern Conference, there's a chance you're not going to win as many games as you might if things were different with Donovan here. Yeah, that might be the road you need to go down. That might be the way.
And if it happens early in the season, that's even better. It will be a blessing in disguise if that happens earlier in the season. Because then we could start they should have been started already, but then it would force them to fully start it at the beginning of the season with 55 games left.
Mm-hmm. Dan, are you here with us?
Yeah, I'm here. How you fellas doing?
All right. How you doing, buddy?
Doing good. Just wanted to stop in real quick. I know a lot of people are disappointed, but in all honesty, I'm hearing people say, well, the Knicks had a better package to give. And I agree and disagree with that. Only because, yeah, we had a better package, but we didn't have a.
Oh, you break it up, Dan.
Oh,
so,
yeah. I'm losing you a little bit.
They have core that they gave us.
Dan, can you hear us?
Can you hear me?
Yeah,
you were breaking up there, Dan.
A little bit.
Yeah. Oh, he still is.
All right. Well, hopefully, maybe you can reposition yourself, Dan, because it sounds like you was going somewhere. I want to hear where you were going. But let me give another quick shout out to the chat. Appreciate y'all for tuning in once again. As always, mad love to everybody. Salute to my guy, Divine in the building. Knicks Real Talk is in the building. Appreciate you, brother. Thank you for rocking in, being with us here. Shout out to Bearded Rose. What's good, my brother? Appreciate you, man. I know this is your first time in the chat. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the generous super chat. He says, keep it up, my dude. Thank you, bro. As always, man. I'm gonna holla at you. Thank you, man. Yeah, Dan, are you still with us?
Yeah, can you hear me better now?
I think so, yeah.
Much better.
All right. Now, what I was trying to say is, I know a lot of people were saying the Knicks had the better package to give, but I agree and disagree with that. Only because, yeah, we might have been able to give more, but we didn't have the better package to stay with for us. And what I mean by that, if you look, Cleveland, they gave them the package, but they still remain their core. They still have they still have the two big men. They still have their point guard, and they're getting Donovan Mitchell. They were already on the verge of, being a good team last year. Now they're just better.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we would have got Mitchell, we wouldn't have been at that same place that Cleveland is right now.
That's a fact.
Agreed.
And I think that's what, hurt us the most. I also feel that if you look at the end of the day, it's the Knicks. It was the Knicks to lose, but I also feel that with these picks that we're going to be getting, that we're maintaining, now we can keep doing what we were doing. If they don't see anybody in the draft, when we come, trade back, get some more assets, and see who comes available afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very true.
If you empty out the storehouse for Mitchell, and don't get me wrong, I really wanted Mitchell to come because he's a dynamic player, but how much better of a position would he have been in New York if we gave up all the players that Utah wanted plus the picks than he would have been in Utah right now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that was my only concern. Like I said, I was upset that we didn't get it done, but at the same time, I wasn't upset that we didn't give him what the Cavs gave him, because the Cavs actually gave him a good deal. And I also believe that poison pill in the RJ contract was the deciding factor, because Colin Sexton's contract didn't have it. So Danny was like, "Oh, you want to play games? That's fine."
And can't argue with that. That's. Hey, listen, you're speaking some facts here, Dan. That may be very true.
So, like I said, we might be down today, but again, we'll probably be smiling by the end of the year or come trade deadline. And I also said that I still believe that we can still make that trade with the Lakers. And who knows, we don't get both of their unprotecteds if we send Cam, Fournier, and maybe some protected picks, and take back Westbrook and whatever.
Okay. What was your? You said you had a question?
Yeah. When you mean that, when you say that you didn't feel that we had the better package, are you separating the draft package from the player package, or are you speaking overall generally?
Well, I'm saying not in the package that we could have gave, but I'm talking about the package that we would have remained with.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right. After the trade, what we're left with, right?
Yeah. So I feel that Cleveland still remained with a better package in Cleveland after the trade than we would.
Oh yeah.
Of course. That's a given, but that's not what I took for what you said. I took it as like you said that the Cavs actually looked like they had a better package than us, and I was just trying to wonder on what side of it. Was it the draft side of it or the player side of it?
Well, no, and I on the player side, the only thing that I think helped them was Sexton's contract compared to RJ's contract. But other than that, I think we could have definitely offered a better package, but we would have been stuck with less than Cleveland has. They still have Mobley. They still have Jared Allen. They still have Okoro. They still have what's his name, the point guard, Garland. So they would be looking a whole lot better than we will.
Yeah, and that's no doubt, without question. Because the other thing is, if you think about who who Cleveland gave up. They just their position of flexibility, better drafting, and overall talent. They were able to put Colin Sexton into the package, and they have no use to bring Colin Sexton back. They were already ready to move off of him. And Agbaji wasn't even on the team. He was drafted. So it's not like they were depending on him. They needed him. And the only person you really gave up was Lauri Markkanen. So when you think about it, you basically gave up one rotational player for Donovan Mitchell.
I don't even feel that they really were that inclined to not give up Markkanen because Mobley slides right in.
Mm-hmm.
So they had a replacement. So they basically gave up, players that were, good players, but it wasn't going to hurt their moving forward. Like if we gave up the players that we were going to give up, it would hurt us moving forward.
Right. And that's the thing that I had mentioned before. Well, I don't know if I mentioned it today, but we had talked about this before when we looked at Cleveland, when they were building their roster prior to this year. It was one of those, like, why did they have so many bigs over there? It was kind of weird. They had like 5 or 6 bigs. It was like, man, that seems like a lot or whatever it was. But this is when you're in a situation where now you got a Jared Allen and Mobley. Getting rid of Markkanen doesn't hurt you at all. Like, okay, now they definitely put themselves in a great position of flexibility to do something like this. So, listen, kudos to them. They got a good player for their team. Now, I will say the flip side of it is, as you guys can tell from the thumbnail, I put that Donovan Mitchell didn't speak up. And because he didn't speak up, he got tossed over to Cleveland. Now, I'm not saying it's not a horrible thing. As far as basketball standpoint, Cleveland is going to be a pretty good team. They're going to be in the mix. He's going to have a chance to compete. And who knows? He might even have a chance to go further this year if they get into the first round and win a first-round series, go further than he did with Utah the past year. So that's a good thing. But you're still in Cleveland. You go from Utah to Cleveland. I don't know if it's real or not. I saw somebody put something in Twitter stating that being loyal to a franchise doesn't always work out or something like that. And apparently at the top, it was Donovan Mitchell's likes. So he apparently liked the comment. That's what happens. You try to be, can't handle yourself a certain way, be professional about it. You've been with the team 5 years. They bring in a guy like Danny Ainge. Danny Ainge is all about business. He don't care. You would think that they would honor him and say, listen, he's not going out publicly disrespecting us. He's not he may have said places he wants to go, but he's not saying, I'm not playing for Utah. I need you to trade me here. He's doing everything by the book. And what do? They send him to Cleveland. I'm just saying. Cleveland was not on his list. I'm not saying it's a bad move for him because in the end, I think he'll acquiesce. He'll be a part of that team. He's a trooper. They're going to be a good unit over there. But this is what happens. It's a shout out to Donovan Mitchell, man. Appreciate you for your game, but I think you messed yourself up here too. As a Knicks fan, if you wanted to come to the Knicks, all you had to do was say it. You should have put it out there, and I know it's against your character, but that would have helped get it done. That's all I'm saying. But whatever. It is what it is. Ajay, what's going on, man?
What's up, fellas?
How you doing?
Yeah, man. What's up, panel chat? Listen, I'm only throwing a couple of things here for a couple of minutes. It's just too much to type. So salute to the to Knicks Nation. So, and Ron, I kind of was leading towards that. Maybe Utah checked with Donovan Mitchell and asked him, which scenario do you prefer? And he probably picked Cleveland because it's a better situation for him in terms of winning. He's joining a better team out there, and the addition of him, like we all know, makes them a contender. It barely moved the needle for the Knicks, especially if they were going to give up RJ, Obi, and Mitch for him. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's what Donovan wrote, because in his head, he's 25 years old. 3 years, he still have time to come play for the Knicks. Mm-hmm. And in 3 years, he'll probably be even better and worth more money. So he has time to come to the Knicks. It's not, he's nowhere near the end of his career, because we're all saying how Utah got Cleveland had a better package. But one of the worst kept secret in all this is Utah's trying to tank. They don't want a better package. They want actually the worst possible package that would make the money work. So they really didn't want good players. If they had gotten RJ, they were going to flip him, or not sign him at the end of the season. They're not looking for a better package because they want to tank like with honor, and the players they got right now, they're going to be winning. They could win some games. So maybe that don't put them in the position that they want. So that I don't think that was a better deal for them. That's not the better deal they were looking for. Maybe that's what Donovan Mitchell just wanted to be in Cleveland more so because of they have a squad there than he wanted to be with the Knicks.
I hear you, Ajay, and I'm just going to push back a little bit only because of one of the factors you brought up, because I think that particular factor doesn't matter in this current trade negotiation, because had that been the case, if the Knicks were giving up Obi, Mitch, and RJ, then I could say, yeah, you might be right. I could see how Donovan might say, well, after that happens, then it's going to be a tough haul. But that wasn't the case because they couldn't trade Mitch. Mitch was already signed because that was an offer that happened early, right? So this current offer might have included RJ. Obi might have gone too. It's true. But in the end, Mitch will still have been there. You would have had a team of Mitch, Julius Randle, Jalen Brunson, Donovan Mitchell, and Evan Fournier or Quentin Grimes, whoever was going to start at the 2. It's not, sexy, but that's a team that the Knicks will win some games with Donovan being the lead guy and Jalen Brunson being the PG, having Mitch, because Donovan definitely needs a big who can block the rim and make up for his defensive lapses. So that's important. So Mitch being here is key. That's a key piece.
Ron, but he's going to Darius Garland, Mobley. He's going to Jared Allen. That's much better than our lineup.
Right.
Those guys there's more talent over there.
Hey,
he's also going to Cleveland, though.
But I also believe it wasn't about that they got a worse package and that's why they were happy, because the players that they got, it was more those unprotected picks, because he wanted to still be competitive but get those unprotected picks to make trades in the future for players or to move up in the draft.
I was going to throw something in there. That's another thing, right? So the real difference is Leon Rose added that top 5 protection. I mean, what is top 5 protection? Like, that's nonsense, because if you have Donovan Mitchell, that top 5 protection doesn't matter because you're not going to get a top 5 pick in the lottery. So it's a really non-protection protection. Leon Rose, he didn't have to throw that in there because it really wasn't going to translate into anything.
That you talk about the Milwaukee one for 2025?
No, not that.
Our pick that Leon Rose added the top 5 that made Danny Ainge walk away, because if we have Donovan Mitchell, we're not getting top 5. We're not getting top 5 pick.
Well, see, but then again, he's looking at the NBA as a whole. You never know. No one ever thought that the Warriors would have got a lottery pick a couple years ago. But what happens with injuries and stuff, he's trying to look at all scenarios. That's probably what Danny Ainge was doing.
Here's another thing too.
The probability, the odds of that happening are like next to none. But we're somehow going to get injuries and we're going to fall so bad that we're going to be in the top 5. That's just not. You don't do business like that.
But Ajay, I think I said your name right. My fault.
Right.
That here's the thing, right? With an unprotected, right? Here's the science with an unprotected.
Mm-hmm.
If I give Danny an unprotected, right? We give him the pick, whatever the year is, right? But it's also dependent on where we are. So would you give somebody a top 5 protected, right? That means that if I'm not in that bottom 5, and let's say I land somewhere in 7 or 8, that works out for Danny. That pick is his. You see? So it's actually like an unprotected. So why would that be the stumbling block?
That's what I'm saying. It's like Milwaukee gave us a top 5 protect because they don't care, because they know they're not gonna be top 5. They're gonna be beyond 5. So they could care less, what protection it was. I mean, it's a
Look, what I'm saying is that, look, if something's top 5 protected, right? What it means is that if I go through 1 through 5, right, it's my pick. But say I'm 6 in the draft, that goes to the other team. So actually, that Milwaukee 2025 is actually really juicy because Drew Holiday is 32 years old. Chris Middleton is 31 years old. Giannis is 28 years old. And the only young talent they have is Mojan Beauchamp that they just picked up in the draft this year. So there could be a good chance that Milwaukee might not be too good in 2025, which is 3 seasons from now.
Wait, hold on 1 second, Ajay, because that's what I want to explain, like not to you, but like to people who may be watching. This top 5 protection thing, most likely the Knicks were going to be a better team, right? So the point is, you're going to say that, you know, the fact of them being that low and have that high of a lottery pick is really slim if you get Donovan Mitchell. That's true. So if the Knicks don't make the playoffs, because even with Donovan Mitchell, there still was a chance the Knicks won't make the playoffs because the East is a tough, like the Knicks are going to be in a play-in situation. They're going to have to fight and then get into a first round. Maybe they do. There's a chance they do, right? So the situation is that pick, because it's top 5 protected, most likely would be a maybe, you know, late 10 to 15 type pick, possibly, if you know, if that's the case. If the Knicks make the playoffs, then you might go higher, 18, around that area, 20, stuff like that. So technically Danny Ainge could say, you guys might be better. If you guys make the playoffs, my pick is going to be around the 20 range. Do I want that pick? He might say that. I don't know if Danny is so concerned about it that he's so like, you know, we get another, it's still a first round pick. He might be okay with that. I think Danny was more upset that after all these negotiations, now you want to add this pick and then you want to get cute and put your own protection on it. Maybe he's just like, listen, all this fighting back and forth, you throw the pick in and then you want to just change the parameters and put a protection on it. I think he just felt it more like a slap in the face, like all this and you're still trying to get cute.
Yeah, it was personal.
I think that's what it was.
And it was
personal. It was definitely personal.
Even Woj, I believe, had reported, if I'm not mistaken, or somebody reported that there was mudslinging going on, you know, between the offices, especially because there's prior history between everybody. So, you know, I'm sure that it was personal, you know, as far as the offices. You know, a lot of people say it's personal because of the Knicks, but I think it's just personal amongst the people that were negotiating. And
guys, and here's oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done. Sorry. So here's my question. So if that top 5, let's say, you know, the top 5 in 2027 or whatever, but the Knicks is not top 5, what happens to that pick? Does Utah like lose it? Like, how does that work? Because I don't know.
Wait, I'm sorry.
Cool.
Which?
Go ahead. I ask it again.
Ask it again, AJ.
No, what I'm saying is, so let's say that pick, that top
No.
I think the Knicks are hitting the button.
Don't inform them. Don't give them knowledge.
Yeah, damn, he's got power. Say that again, Ajay. My fault. You were breaking up. I'm sorry. Could you repeat it again?
I was breaking up.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is that top 5 protection. Let's say that year they don't get that pick. Utah say, you know what? I mean, it doesn't meet the criteria for the protection. Do they lose the pick? What happens to it? Like, does it just transfer to another year?
Over. Right. It carries over.
Yeah, it has stipulations. So, like, well, some of them it depends on the stipulation. You can actually work the stipulation as long as it works with the laws and guidelines and stuff. But like, for example, right, I'll give you a clear example. The 2028 pick or 27 that the Jazz got for Minnesota, that was like a top 4, top 5 protected, right? If that, for example, in that one, if that doesn't translate, it turns into a second round pick.
Okay.
You see, so it depends on it. There's not like a set thing. See, unprotected is a little bit more straightforward because there's really no stipulations with unprotected. So, for example, when Minnesota gave the unprotected to Danny, right, for 2023, right? Danny gets wherever Minnesota lands. You see, so if Minnesota's a top 5 team in the West, right, and the draft seeding is done by how it is at in the regular season, then he's looking at like anywhere from a 19 to 24, 23 pick. But Minnesota has to give it to him though.
Got it. I got you.
Mm-hmm.
I got you. So
Yeah,
it
like, for
translates,
example,
but it becomes voluntary after this point, I guess.
Well, that was an unprotected. What I was saying, protected. For example, we have a Washington Wizard protected this year, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, and it's top 14 protected, but then the next year, right? That it's top 13 protected. I think I'm wrong on the numbers, but I'm just giving you the idea. Right. Then the next year it's top 11 protected. You see where I'm getting at? Yeah. So it actually gets juicier as time goes, only depending on the direction of where that team is going. So, for example, Washington, right? In 26, I think it's like top 10, top 8 or something like that protected. That's looking real juicy because there's a good chance that Washington's not going to be good in the next couple of years.
Right.
You see?
Right, because you got the thing is like this is why these negotiations with these type of picks are so in depth and there's so much talking. It's like analysis and all this stuff. You have to look into all this stuff. And D had brought up, even he used an example on his show recently about Milwaukee. Milwaukee's pick, when we got that pick, it was a 2025 pick. We were like, oh, Milwaukee, 25, protected pick. We're like, but when you look at the Milwaukee team and where 2025 fits, the age of their star players now, I think D brought it up. Like guys are going to be in their mid 30s. Even freaking Giannis may be 31 by the time, this pick is in play. That Milwaukee team may not be as good as they were before. Like this is their window now, but 3 years from now or 2 years from now, whatever it is, like that team may be changing drastically. So that pick starts to become even more interesting to us, and it might be very favorable. So some of these picks do turn into something if you know what team you're getting it from and what their trajectory is, what it looks like. So that's why it all goes into play. So some of these are not like, that's crap. No, they're not. Some of them actually could work out to be something special, and we could really benefit.
Yeah. And that's why I feel that the Knicks were so hesitant to give the kind of picks that the Cavs gave, because the Cavs gave picks to Utah that come into play way after Donovan's contract is up. So, they're looking at, well, yeah, we might be good right now for these 2 years, 3 years, but we don't know what happens in the next 4 or 5 years to put us back. We're back to being bottom feeders. And now we've just, gave up, picks that could have helped us get back up on top.
Right. And Dan, I agree with you. But this is where, see, everything you said, stuff that D said, other people have mentioned, I agree with all of that. I think, Leon, you need to be smart. Don't you try to get Donovan in here, but don't mortgage our future, because you know that it's going to come back to bite us in the ass later. Right. But if you put yourself in this position where you are going back and forth, this negotiation is drawn out, everything, the writing's on the wall. Donovan's a big Met fan. He's all around New York. He's running around town with Quickly. You got all this stuff going on. Donovan's people, he may be looking into, I think he already has something in New York anyway that he can go to. But all this stuff is playing out in front of you, the CAA connection. I don't think you cannot get Donovan Mitchell. Even like you may have your reasoning, whereas you don't want to go crazy, but I don't think you can leave this negotiation without getting Donovan Mitchell. It's too many things in play, and your CAA connection and all this. We don't even know. There might have been, people have said before, that's speculating, but there might have been promises. Maybe when they got Jalen, they said, listen, we're most likely going to bring Donovan in here too. So we don't know what's going on, but CAA is the mafia. So I'm just saying, like, I think in the end, even though from a standpoint of being a Knicks fan and knowing what this team is doing, I'm okay with it. I'm just saying from the front office perspective, how everything is played out, the writing on the wall, all the connections, the families, all this stuff, I don't see how you don't leave here with Donovan Mitchell. That's all I was trying to get at.
Well,
Ron,
I was just going to say real quick, think about this. He has 4 years left on his contract, but the last year is players option.
Yeah. Okay.
So, that in 3 years, he could go wherever he wants anyway. And who's to say we're not even better at that time where he actually gets us over the hump. So that, you know, we can't mortgage the farm. And like I said, as much as I wanted him to come, I'm glad that they set their price and they stuck to it, because that's the only way that we're going to get anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, listen, like I said, I agree with you, but I'm just thinking that this points to possibly a bigger problem that we have with our front office. When we are, say this Knicks team comes out this year and we don't make the playoffs because the East is just that much better. But throughout the season, maybe I'm right. Maybe the Knicks finish with 43 wins. I think most Knicks fans would say, damn, if the Knicks finished with 43 wins and the Knicks played these young guys and Obi looked good and Grimes looked good and quickly RJ improved, I think we'd all be pretty happy with the product, even if we didn't get, you know, further than we wanted to. They would look good and we'd be like, okay, now we got something. Next year we say, okay, who's the big guy out there that we can go get that is going to get moved? Do you feel confident that the Knicks are going to close the deal? Because I don't. That's my problem that I'm having. And when it's time, when we're ready to go get that guy, I'm not sure Leon can close the deal.
Well, see, you know who I think is going to benefit the most from this trade not going through? Jalen Brunson.
Who?
Jalen Brunson. And the reason I say that is because he's going to be able to step up even more and do what he does even more without having Mitchell there and helping these other guys develop. So I think it's going to work out for us.
Real quick, Ron, Star CAA's question.
Oh, hold on one second. I 100% agree with you, Dan, on that, because bringing Mitchell in here it's not like having Luka, but it definitely would be another high ball usage type player that, in essence, Jalen would kind of have to defer to in ways. I see what you're saying. Is this the one? Yep. Okay. So let me read what CA Mafia has to say. Hold on one second.
Shout out to CA Mafia, by the way.
Yes, thank you. I was going to say salute to him. Appreciate you. He said, panel, what is the best move that Leon Rose has made in 3 years? Okay, hold on one second. Let me just do this real quick. I'm going to come right back to it. Hold on. Let me just say what's up to, first off, NYK31. Appreciate you. Thank you for being here. Garden and Knicks podcast in the building. Tone Wool, what's good, brother? Appreciate you, man. Good to see you. Hopefully the family's doing good. Knicks will be 2026 NBA champs. Oof. I don't know, man. Every other week, you're going to have to extend that year. What's good? Good to see you, man. Shout out to Billy R23. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you. I don't know if you've been here before, but if this is your first time, thank you for tuning in and getting in the chat. Appreciate you. I don't want to. I think that's facts. Tim Legler said the Jazz didn't even give the Knicks a chance to counter. Things got heated in the war room between Ainge and Rose. Yep, I think that's what it looks like to me. Okay, let me get back to CAA. Hold on. Of course, you try to be cute and then you lose what the head.
It's in the star section, right? Jeez.
Did I star it? I don't know if I started. I did. No, I did. Okay. All right, so back to this. What is the best move that Leon Rose has made in 3 years? I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm thinking about it right now.
That's a tough question.
Well, honestly, you know what? Honestly, the best move he's made in the last 3 years was the no-brainer move that he could have done with his eyes closed. I think one of his kids could have helped with the move. I don't know how many kids he has, but that was bringing in Jalen Brunson. That's the best move he's made, but it was like he didn't have to really work to do that.
Especially if Jalen and Rick want to come.
That move made itself.
That's what I'm saying.
That move.
You know what I think his best move is? Not destroying what we already had, like the past GMs.
Interesting.
See, but the reason why the jury's out on that, Dan, is because we don't know what direction they're going into this season and next season on.
Yeah, and I agree with that. The only thing is we still have, it's like we don't know if we're going to go into a famine, but we have food in the storehouse to, if the famine comes. With the other GMs, we didn't have no food in the storehouse.
Well, I think what D's trying to say, we don't know. So we're gathering all these assets, but we haven't done anything with them. Assets don't win championships. So the jury's still out. We don't know like that whether those were good moves or not. Because
and I understand. And I agree because, we never know, but we could always say that about the Donovan Mitchell trade too. We would never know what happens if he came. You never know. It's a toss-up anyway. But I feel that right now we're in a better place than any GM has had us in at least 2 decades.
Oh, absolutely. I think in forever, if you were to go that far.
Yeah.
But I think CA's question was more towards what has transpired over since the regime has taken over, I think, was more to where his question was leading to.
No, if it's the regime as a whole, I mean, we could throw they've drafted better than previous regimes, I think. But that's not specifically a Leon Rose. I mean, he makes the ultimate decision, but it's really the team that selects who gets drafted. So as a whole, that front office, they probably drafted better. And as we just said, they collect more assets than everybody else, but that so far has not translated into W's and L's.
Yeah.
And I'll put myself out there and put a future thing that they're going to do, and I feel it's going to happen is Cam going to the Lakers. We get Westbrook at an unprotected or 2 if we send Fournier, and I think it'll be better than that pick that we gave up for Cam.
But I don't. That would be a terrible.
Did we give up an unprotected for Cam?
I don't see. I don't remember. I know it was the first round, but I don't know. I thought it was a protected.
It was protected from Charlotte.
Yeah.
Oh, that top 14 one. Yeah, you know what? That was a good move on their part because that pick was going to translate the jump.
Exactly. So I feel that.
Hold on one second, Dan. Hold on one second. The only thing I did want to say to Knicks fans who may not remember, out of all the picks the Knicks did get, that one particular Charlotte pick was the worst protected.
Absolutely.
Pick because it was like 2 years at a first, and then it automatically changed into a second for the next couple years. That was the worst one we had. So that was okay to move that one. Yeah.
Horrible.
Yeah, and then the Hawks acquired it. That's right. Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
But guys, I mean, getting Russell Westbrook and buying him out for $40+ million, that wouldn't be a good move, man. That's in the negative column for me.
Me personally, I wouldn't buy him out. I'd let him sit. I'd let him play for the year.
There you go, Dan.
You let him play for the year?
Yeah, let him play for the year.
Well, hold on.
You don't have to and take minutes from the kids we want.
No, I'm not talking about starting him or anything. Let him play off the bench. Just let him sit the bench.
The only way off the bench, he's still taking minutes.
No, but you don't have to play him any minutes. You just give him garbage minutes when he's there and just let him sit.
Listen, man, I'm giving those garbage minutes to the kids I want to develop.
Yeah. Dan, you don't have to play him at all. You don't have to play him at all. If that's the move you want to make, sorry, Russell Westbrook, we owe you nothing. We're doing this as a business move. You have to deal with it a la John Wall. You will sit on the bench all season. You'll be a great cheerleader. You will tell that at some point after your bitterness is over, you will start advising some of these young kids on things they should be trying to do out there. You will practice with the team if you want to, and you will deal with it. That's it. You bring him in, you let him sit there on the bench.
Guys, that would be a terrible. So we paid a guy $40 million just to come do this.
That's business. That's what an expiring contract does. That's why they're hot
we
commodities.
Don't need an expiring contract.
But you think about it. You're getting rid of money at the same time. So you're going to get rid of Evan Fournier, his contract, maybe Derrick Rose or somebody, and with that, you're getting 1, maybe 2 unprotected picks. Along when you send Cam out, which Cam is probably going to go, and you don't want to lose him for nothing. So. With the Westbrook, the value is not in Westbrook. The value is the picks that you're going to get.
I'm not losing Cam for Westbrook, man.
Let me tell you something, Adjay. I'm sorry to break this to you. You're losing Cam anyway.
Yeah, but not lose him and pay $40 million on top of it, man.
But see, you're hung up on the paying the money. This is how it will play out if it played out this way. As Dan was saying, you trade Cam. You trade Fournier, you trade Rose. For example, it doesn't have to be Rose. It could be somebody else.
To make the money work.
To make the money work. You bring in Westbrook. One thing you're automatically doing is remember that whole log jam that I keep saying we got? that you're getting rid of. Now you found a way to get playing time for some of these young guys that you want to play. Quickly can play now comfortably. Grimes can play now comfortably. This is important, right? So you've cleared up some space. These guys can play. You have Westbrook here. Yes, he's going to be, hopefully he's a model citizen, but if he's not, whatever. Don't even show up on the bench. You can watch the games from home, right? So that's $47 million that you have there. At the end of the season, that $47 million comes off. It doesn't affect your cap. Like, you're not penalized for it because of the way that's what an expiring does. Now, when you go into the offseason, you got Jalen Brunson, you got RJ Barrett, you still got Julius Randle if he's here, you still got Obi, you got Quickly, you got Grimes, you got Mitchell Robinson, and you got $47 million to go bring in another player.
And Ron,
that's why it's important.
Ron, before I go, I'm gonna ask you this question. So now you have all this cap room, right? And you're gonna trust Leon Rose to close the deal?
Hey, that's why we're
free agent.
This is why we're here, Ajay, because I don't trust Leon Rose.
So what are we gonna do with all that cap space?
But I think with the cap space, don't you think if we had those Lakers picks that the deal would have been done? Because they said that Danny Ainge wanted those picks. So if we get those, we can use them somewhere else.
We have other picks we didn't want to use. I think Leon Rose, I don't think he was going to give up them picks anyway. I mean,
that's the thing.
So real quick, let me answer CA's question. I think the best move he made in 3 years, and it's nothing great by any shape, form, or measure, but I think was acquiring Derrick Rose for a second round pick. And that's nothing to really go great by. So that's why I wanted to highlight your question, because the reality of the situation is that this third year is a year. This is a proving ground. And it's not a proving ground to win Eastern Conference Final, just to know what the hell you're doing. I need to know what the hell you're doing. Are you establishing a culture? Are you going towards development? Are you going towards the draft? I need to know. Are you going to go towards this win now purgatory thing? Look, if you do it, I'm going to disagree with it to the ends of the earth. But at least I know what the hell you're doing.
Right.
So, and then if they do decide that, now I'm on Ron's side now about the fact, well, if you were just going to do that, you might as well just got Donovan.
Right. Yeah. It's so many different ways this could go. Let me do this because I want to get some of you guys through some stuff in the chat in reference to this question. I want to, throw that out there, shout you guys out. First off, shout out to Long Island Sound One. Appreciate you for being here. Brooklyn Buddha in the building. The Coolest 718. Mozilla's in the building. Thank you guys for tuning in and rocking with us. So to CAA Mafia's question, some other people threw some stuff in there. Building Block said not overpaying RJ is one of the better moves he did. Which I mean, it is a good move.
That is.
Deron Wayne may have hit the ding ding ding. You never know. He said best move is not making this trade. Maybe in the long run, maybe it is. We don't know.
Dan alluded to that as well.
Right. Divine from Knicks Real Talk said extending Mitch. I think that was an important move, especially if you're not going to be drafting Jalen Duren when you had him there. You better extend Mitch. Let's see who else we got. Pudge Nice said the Brunson signing. Okay. I agree with that. I think that was it in reference to that particular question.
I'm going to have to agree with Pudge. I'm with him on that Brunson signing because I know Brunson is going to be a stud, and I know he's going to be fantastic for culture. That's without a doubt. But then the whole thing with Brunson, here's the only thing I question is that if CAA leaves and say they get fired from their positions, what does that do with Jalen Brunson?
Right.
I don't think that Brunson would leave because he's home. So I think that would be something that holds him back if that was to happen.
Well, I don't think it would be his choice either. If a new regime comes in and they don't see Jalen Brunson and their plans and they're looking at bigger, longer wings, for example, then Jalen would have fitted to that.
Oh, yeah, facts.
Yeah.
I don't know. You know what I would be interested to see? I see C. Cartagena put it there, and I know how Almighty Finesse feels about it. And I know D had mentioned it a long time ago. Even with San Antonio signing Keldon Johnson to the 4-year, $80 million deal, which is like 20 per.
Mm-hmm.
I would do this. And I don't know how some of you guys feel about it, but I would trade, because you'd have to do this, I think, in order to even have it. He may shoot it down because San Antonio, for whatever reason, listen, San Antonio to the Knicks, they don't have a greatest relationship. Like Tibbs and Popovich may be good friends, but as far as business relationship, these two teams don't have a good love affair. That's the reason why we didn't even have a shot to sniff the DeJounte Murray deal.
Well, that was because of Morris. What happened with Morris?
Correct. That's right, Dan. If we could trade Fournier, Cam Reddish, and a first-round pick, yeah, I said it, you would have to throw a first-round pick in there to get Keldon Johnson, I would do that in a heartbeat. I don't know how you guys feel about it, but I would do that in a heartbeat. And I don't know if San Antonio would go for it, but I would definitely try, because here's the thing. Like I said, I don't know how much money they have as an organization going forward, but if they had the money, you get Fournier, who you know is going to be a shooter for your team. He's European, you know, they love European players, even though he doesn't play great defense. Cam Reddish might be someone that can replace a DeJounte Murray in the star quality if you can get him, you know, going over there. And if they have the money, they might be able to keep him long term. I don't know if they do. And you get a first-round pick out of it. If I was the Knicks, I would explore something like that. And it doesn't hurt you in your attempts going forward. You're not giving up a whole bunch of assets. You would give up one pick, but Keldon Johnson could be a very good, valuable piece on this Knicks team going forward, where you may not be able to get 3 superstar players in here, but you can get, you know, after this, you can still possibly go out and get you another star type player while having Jalen Brunson, while having a Keldon Johnson, and having a much improved, hopefully, RJ Barrett. And then you can somehow figure out a way to get rid of Julius's contract going forward. But, you know, I'm just saying that's a thought.
You know, and that's why I would have acquired Keldon before they signed that. And that's why, Ron, you know, I was hot and heavy on.
I know.
Yo, let's get him now. Let's do this. And I had a whole bunch of trade packages. But since they signed him, it kind of led me to believe that, especially how they drafted, he's a part of that little timeline they have going with developing the San Antonio Spurs from the ground up again.
Yeah, I agree with you, Steve.
Yeah. And Fournier's contract or play is not going to nowhere equate in that deal.
Right. And that's why I think you got to throw, if you were even trying, you would have to throw a first-round pick in there. You got to do something to try to make it juice. No, don't say that.
Yeah.
You saying peace? You saying peace?
because one for the Fournier contract and one to acquire Keldon. Because this doesn't work for San Antonio in any way except for the draft capital.
Right. You're right.
Call me crazy. You know who I like, and I think he has the potential to be really good, and I think that's why they drafted him too, is Josh Primo.
Let me tell you something. I'm not calling you crazy, and I don't know if what I saw is real. Do you guys see the most recent picture of Josh Primo? Josh Primo looked like he ate Josh Primo. Like there's 2 of them now. I don't know what happened. I don't know what's going on, B. I'm like, yo, what happened here? Well, whatever. I don't know, dude.
He went the Zion route?
It's not Zion,
no,
but
it's
Wookie,
like bro.
He's like, but like it don't look like him. I don't know who that is. It's crazy.
Oh, but, so he's looking all diesel.
It's not necessarily it's not diesel like cut up, but it's big, like solid big type. And I don't know if we got to see how that plays out, how it affects his game, because from what I know of Josh Primo, he was very like a slasher type. You know, the way he plays. I don't know if this. We'll see. I don't know. Whatever.
I would like to see his muscle to body fat ratio.
Yeah, that's gonna be interesting.
Right, he gonna be doing a lot of pick and roll. He gonna be rolling, not slashing. Pick and roll.
You might be right, man. You might be right. Shout out to IQJ. Appreciate you. Nick Yak is in the building. Thank you guys for joining up and hollering at us, being in the chat. Wilson Dang is here. Kibbit1 is here. Kibbit1, I don't know if I've seen you here before. If you have been, thank you for coming back. If not, this is your first time. Thank you for rocking with us. He said, imagine the media circus it would be with Westbrook on the bench, no playing in New York. Let me tell you something. Who cares? Who cares? I agree with you. It would be a media circus, but the Knicks are always revolved around. It's always a media circus. They say negative things about everything the Knicks do. If anything, now you give them a reason and you're okay with it. Mm. And if I was Leon Rose, I'd handle it in the most professional manner. If I have to speak on it, like, we acquired Russell Westbrook. It was a business, acquisition of some sort. However it was, we got some contracts off of our books. We took back Russell's expiring contract, and we value him as being a part of the team, and we are going to handle things, however he wants to say it going forward. Never say nothing negative, just whatever. I'm not even going to answer it. Russell Westbrook is a valuable piece of the organization, and we're happy to have him here. Still never play him. That's it. That's how you do it. Never even talk about it. Just doesn't play.
My thing, because I didn't get to chime in with you guys with the Westbrook thing, is that if you're developing and that's the route you're going, I say no to Russell. But if you're trying this win now purgatory, middle of the pack, without really going anywhere, but still having a 37-40 record or some nonsense like that, then this is probably a move they would do.
Mm-hmm. I can see that being the. But see, here's the thing: what if they do want to develop, but it's a contingency plan, right? We want to do this. We'll bring in Russell. We're not going to play him, and we're going to play these young kids and see how they turn out. But if they look good, right? If they've improved, we've got the cap flexibility to go bring in whoever's a free agent. If we like them, bring in that star next year to help take the roster to the next level. And if these young guys don't look good, you still have the flexibility. You don't have to use it in that term. You don't have to put it all in on one player. You could do what they have normally been doing, getting these 1 year, 2 year deals or whatever it is, just to fill out the contract and use the cap under the rules. And you can go back into the draft and see if you can acquire some other talent. Because I think they're much better off if they put themselves in a position of flexibility and get off some of these contracts. Because the bottom line is the Knicks still have an issue where they have too many players that need to play under this Tom Thibodeau coaching regime. If you change the coach, then maybe this is not an issue. Maybe the Knicks can play 11 guys, at a time. Maybe the coach is okay with that. I'll play 10 or 11 guys. There's different coaches that have no problem with that. But on the Tibbs, you're in a situation where you're going to have to figure out a way to move some of these dudes to give him a chance to play guys minutes. That's just what I'm thinking.
But does Westbrook come in and look, I have to think about it like this, right? Because I'm thinking of Westbrook's position. Westbrook's what, 32, 33, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Somewhere there.
Yeah.
And he gonna come into a New York Knicks situation where he's leading the charge for this development on an expiring contract? He gonna sacrifice a year and hoping to build some type of value with the league and where he can still ball. I don't know. I don't think that makes sense, bro.
Well, first off, he don't have a say, D. We've already seen it play out with John Wall. John Wall had no say. And what John Wall did is, you know what? You don't want to play me? Fine. Guess what? I'm not taking a buyout. I want my $44 million. I'm going to take it all throughout this year. I'm going to sit here on the bench, say what's up to everybody. I'm going to take pictures with everybody. I'm going to watch y'all play. And that's what Westbrook's going to have to – he's going to have to do that too. He's getting paid his money. He's taking the $47 million he's owed. He's going to get his money, and that's it. He's going to have to sit there and smile because in the end, yes, does he lose a year of playing if that's the case, which sucks because he's getting older, and that's only going to deteriorate his game even more, right? But what are you going to do? Are you going to go? You're going to go with you're going to talk to your agent and say, let's go talk to the Knicks. Listen, I want to buy out. I'll take $10 million less. Just get me out of here. I want to play somewhere. If he does that, even better for the Knicks.
He could be taking $25 million.
I know I know, but I'm just saying, whatever it is, like if anything that benefits the Knicks, I think is a win-win for the Knicks in my opinion.
Really?
Get rid of the logjam.
So are you sure Tom Thibodeau is going to sit there and look at Russell Westbrook on the bench and is not going to give him any minutes?
No,
I don't see that happening.
No, but I agree with you.
Either.
And this is where the Don, you want to call him the Don, this is where the Don needs to be the Don. The Don would say to Coach Thibodeau, listen, I respect everything you're doing. This is your team. You run it the way you want to run it. Westbrook, not
I
playing.
hope he ain't telling him that.
Westbrook, not playing, okay? He's here. This is a business move. We're trying to free up capital so that we can get you a better roster next year. He's on the bench. Or he's at home eating Hungry Man dinners, watching us play, whatever it is. So that's what I would do. What I'm saying.
Thibodeau's gonna start.
I agree with you. That's where Leon has to tell him when you come, we're not giving you a jersey. You come in plain clothes.
Don't give him a jersey.
Facts. He's got a nagging injury that's takes the whole NBA season to recover from.
Thibodeau's gonna play him at the end of the season. He's gonna, I realized I made a mistake. I shouldn't have played Westbrook all these minutes. That's what he's gonna do. That's what he's done in his entire career.
And that is a big con with the Westbrook thing. He's exactly. I'm not sure who's saying that, but if he comes in, Westbrook is playing 30 plus every night, bro.
Now, okay, here's the thing. Now, I agree with you that with Tom Thibodeau, it's a very tough thing to do. But I'm just saying, look, last year, the front office and Tom Thibodeau were clearly not on the same page. You saw that when they acquired Cam, and then Thibodeau was not figuring out a way to play him because he was trying to tell the front office, look, I don't care who you bring in here. I'm already trying to play these guys. I'm trying to find minutes. And then you want to bring in another guy, and another guy is not a no-brainer. It's not like Donovan Mitchell came in and you got to play him. No, it was Cam who hasn't really proven or shown anything for us to say he's got to play over RJ or over this guy. So they already had that little dissension between the two. This year, somebody's got to step up and be, have the direction of the team. And I think that comes from the front office. Yes, Tom Thibodeau is the coach. He should be able to play whoever he wants to play. But in this case, when you're trying to make a business move, it's got to come down from the front office. Now, the flip side is if Westbrook does come in here and say, I know this is bad. I get it, guys. It's the same situation. What if Westbrook does come in here and he does play multiple minutes and he looks good?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Then it's
That's a whole possibility.
That is a possibility. He could play good here. We don't know. We saw Westbrook when he was with the Wizards, which was not too long ago. He played a lot better than I thought he would. I thought he was kind of on the finishing area then in life, but he wasn't. So he played pretty good. He could come to the Knicks and he could ball out, or at least be something better than what we got, and he could push the pace. We could run a whole different offense with Westbrook here. Who knows? I know. I get it. It's bad, but I'm just saying.
I have a question for you, Ron. It is a very important question. Now seeing after the Donovan Mitchell demise, right? Where, if it was up to you, right? My bad. Let me not say it like that. What direction do you want this team to go starting this season, knowing that Donovan Mitchell is out the picture?
If it was up to me right now, I want the Knicks to play the young guys. And I say the young guys, I want them to play Grimes, Obi quickly. That's who I want to see in a lot of scenarios. I would want the starting lineup to be Mitchell Robinson, Julius Randle, got to put him there because he's here. RJ Barrett, Quentin Grimes, Jalen Brunson. That's what I would want the starting lineup to be. And after that, I want to see Obi being one of the first guys off the bench, and I want Quickly to be one of the second guys off the bench. And I know we still have Derrick Rose and all that, but in the end, by the time the season is all said and done, those are the guys that I need to be playing a good amount of minutes. I want to see what they really have here. We can move forward. And I also want them to kind of move off of keeping guys on this team that you're really not invested in. Like, I love the idea of Deuce. He doesn't fit the plan. So, do Deuce a favor and move on from him. Let him go somewhere else. Maybe he can, fit somebody else's scheme. I want stuff like that to be done. We had so much problems with this roster last year where we couldn't get rid of Burks, couldn't get rid of Noel, and they finally got rid of those guys. But now you're in a situation where you still have a little bit of a logjam. That's the only reason why I would consider Westbrook, just to get rid of the logjam. You can get 3 players out of here and bring in 1 Westbrook, which frees up time, even if Westbrook cuts into it.
But I could clear the logjam without getting Westbrook here.
Well, and the only one thing I'll say about that is that if you think about it, if we got Westbrook, it frees up, like Ron, like you're saying, the logjam at the wing. But really, especially if Rose is included in the deal, who is Russell Westbrook going to take minutes from? Because he's not going to start over Brunson. And if Rose is in the deal, he's really. Do you want quickly running the point with the second unit? He's better at the 2. So I think it would work good.
Well, you know what? And I'll get right back to you, D. In fairness to Quickly, which D helped me realize that, because D's always looking at numbers. When we looked at Quickly's numbers, his efficiency rating on the defensive end and on the offensive end, turnover to assist ratio, and the impact on winning when Quickly was out there on the court and how the team played, Quickly was one of our best players. So I think Quickly, this is like a 360 for me. I think Quickly could run the backup point. So I don't have an issue with it. I think that's fine. I think if anything, you could have if Westbrook does come here and plays, he could be the shooting guard. He can play that role. He can do that. That's all he really does anyway.
Well,
I mean, I'm just saying.
Not only that, you think about how they're going to be running that second unit. That second unit would be running with Westbrook, Quickly, Obi, Sims. That would be
they would be running all right. That is true. They would be running.
But here's my thing, right? And I thought Dan was going to allude to it, but he did it. That Westbrook played 34 minutes a game last season. Okay, and his ball usage with LeBron James on his team was still at almost 31%. Meaning that, here's my thing: if you're going to bring in Westbrook, it's fine. But is Westbrook willing to acquiesce to the idea of that we're developing this year and we're using this as a year for you to improve your stock for your next contract? If Westbrook's with that, that's fine. But if you're bringing him in here to have some type of nostalgia of what he was a couple of years ago, you are sadly mistaken. And if you try to go ahead and make it work with Brunson, him, RJ Barrett, and Julius Randle, I don't think that team goes very far.
And D, I agree with you. The only thing I will say is that and this is my personal opinion, I think Russell Westbrook is better suited for teams trying to develop than for winning teams. He's not the type of player that helps the team get over the hump. He actually hurts that environment when you have, established superstars already. But look what he did with the Wizards. All they had was Beal. He came in, he did great, even when Beal was hurt or out. Mm-hmm. So I think that.
Well, they got smacked in the first round, Dan.
Yeah, but they weren't even a playoff team before he got there.
Okay.
So, and if he's willing to come off the bench, I wouldn't be upset with giving him minutes, especially, like I said, if Rose is in the trade. Because then he's really not only taking minutes from Deuce McBride. And like Ron said, he really doesn't fit the plan anyway. So you can play Westbrook quickly, Obi, Sims, Grimes coming off the bench as a second unit, and it'll still work. Even if Grimes is starting and Fournier is in the second unit, it would work. But I'm more in looking into it for the picks, to get those unprotected picks, because we have to worry about getting somebody else here in the future.
Okay.
We got to worry about culture. Do we have a culture?
Absolutely not.
Look at Golden State, look at Boston, look at Milwaukee, look at all these teams, right? They have culture. Do we have culture? Do we have development? Learn something from the Cavs. A big thing with Donovan Mitchell, real quick, a real thing with Donovan Mitchell coming to the Cavs was that they already got something that they can work with and compete at a real level.
And I agree.
I don't think we don't even have a direction.
We don't even have a direction.
We don't even have a direction. I mean,
Can
one
can I
minute
ask
he
can
enrolled
I ask that
telling you he
question?
wants to build through the draft, the youth, but then the next minute he's trying to trade RJ, Mitch, and Obi. But I mean, it's all over the place. We wouldn't have a direction. We don't know what we're doing.
Well, I think I'll be on this real quick. I'll be on Leon's side with that. Is that I think what he was trying to do is that he was choosing who he was going to build with. And I'm saying that you would not want to build with freshly with Jalen Brunson and Donovan Mitchell.
Listen, Knicks Nation, we would have lost our minds if they got rid of RJ, Obi, and Mitch. Okay.
I mean, I think that's true. That people would have been going sick if that
we
would
have plus 3 draft picks. We would have lost our mind.
Now, let me ask you guys this: are y'all willing to give up a draft pick or unprotected to get rid of Fournier?
I think you may have to. In the end, you're gonna. I think you may be in a position where you're gonna. You might have to give up something like that in order to get Fournier up out of here. And
take a bad contract. Do not give up the pick. Take an Eric Bledsoe contract.
I would
take
do
a Kevin
that.
Love contract. Some crap like that. Not the draft pick.
And I think that's how the Knicks will probably, like Brock Aller is going to advise the Knicks if they're trying to move off of Fournier's contract to do it that way first before having to give up any draft assets. But they may have to in the long run. And let me tell you, the other thing is, if the Knicks look like, because we know that first 20 games is tough, they get off to a bad start, which they very well could. And if they seem like they're calling, like starting to move around the NBA and shop Fournier, teams are definitely going to try to bait the Knicks to give up something more than they want to give up. Because why not? We know you in a situation where you need our help. Why not try to get a pick out of you? I could see that happening, but we'll see. Shout out to Eddie F. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you being here. Mike Boy's in the building. Nick D is here, and salute to Thomas Shepard. Thank you for being here. I don't know if this is your first time or not, but if it is, thank you for being here. If not, thank you for coming back. Appreciate you. Sherwin says Quickly's assists are not real. They're all bailout assists. It doesn't matter, Sherwin. All that does matter is that his assist to turnover ratio was very high. And at the end of the season, he had 2 triple doubles that were not bailout assists. The point was at that point, he was given the keys for the first time all season to run the offense. I know if people want to say it was against poor competition or teams that were resting their players, doesn't matter. He was still going up against NBA competition, and these guys were better. Some of these, it was a mix. So some of these guys are better than what you're going to find in the summer league. So it's not like he's not doing it against, NBA competition. It's just not the highest level of it. So it's not easy to get a triple double. I don't care who you're playing. It is what it is. So I'm gonna give him credit for that. I was one of the hardest people criticizing Quickly's game from him not being a traditional point guard. I didn't see it, but I got to look at it and say the guy was improving. I got to take it for what it is. That's all I'm saying. That's it.
Yeah, he probably was like me, frustrated with Quickly his shot selection in the beginning, but showed something in the end.
Yeah, I just think that, for Quickly, I'm so used to a certain type of point guard, maybe spoiled being in New York and us having the Mark Jacksons, even though it wasn't that long, but like the Marburys, the Rod Stricklands, like the guys who got game, break you down, get to the rim, like the little more flashy, even Mark with his little shimmy, they're just a flashier type, and Quickly is not that. And his layup package, it ain't jelly. If the kids know what I mean. He don't got that jelly package, but he might be working on it this year. I don't know. You never know. I think if anything,
jelly.
Yeah, it's more cream than jelly. If anything, the dude who got the jelly package that the Knicks fans still ain't ready for yet is Brunson. Brunson got a lot of flash and flair in his game. You guys haven't seen it all yet. I'm telling you.
Can't wait.
Yeah. So before we get out of here, I just want to, basically get into one thing real quick. We're going to touch on it a lot more on Monday. We're going to get into, the Evan Fournier thing and how we got to get off of that contract because it's going to help the Knicks. But my whole thing is, do you guys think that at any point, and this is the last we're going to say about it because I just think we have to do it. Do you guys think at any point that Cam is going to be on this New York Knicks team long term going forward? Don P, what do you think?
I think that again, though, like you said, can you hear me? I got headphones in.
We hear you.
Okay, I think the front office and the coaching of Tom Thibodeau specifically are at odds when it comes to Cam Reddish. I think the front office believes in his talent. I think that Tom Thibodeau doesn't. I just think that when it comes to Cam Reddish, it's all about politics. You know, it's one of those things where he's not looking at whether or not he can hit the floor yet. Like you said, in Tom Thibodeau's eyes, he hasn't proved anything. But to answer your question, in short, I don't know. I hope so.
But if you want, I love to, lay things up for people. Do you think that the Knicks are willing to give Cam Reddish $80 to $100 million to stay here on the Knicks with what they've already done? And I'm lowballing because I'm lowballing it because he could get more. He won't, but he could. What do you think about that, Don P?
It just depends on if he gets at least. I mean, who else we got our small forwards? Besides RJ right now.
That's RJ's enough. RJ's gonna play like 30 plus minutes. So
35.
I'm a Cam fan. I got my bias towards Cam straight up. So cross my fingers. I hope Cam finds it to get at least over 15 minutes per game. I know with RJ there, highly unlikely. But as far as the numbers that you're giving out, I don't see it. Can't nobody do nothing with 10 minutes a game.
No.
Yeah, it seems very tough. It seems tough. Let me just throw this out there. Keep in mind that Fournier is still on this team. And as long as Fournier is here, you would assume he's going to play somewhere between 15 and 20 minutes. You decided not to put Grimes out there. So if you value Grimes got to play anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes. So that's the two guard spot. That's like 40 minutes right there. RJ is going to play like 35 plus minutes at the small forward. You got your point guard situation. You're not playing Cam at the point guard. So where does Cam play?
It's got to be the three. He's got to back up RJ.
He's got to back up RJ. So how many minutes is left?
Cam is a better free throw shooter than RJ.
That's about it.
Come on, Don. Come on, Don. Cam hasn't done anything that RJ's done it this week so far, bro.
I had to take one shot at RJ. I had to. I was for blasphemous comments about Cam Reddish.
Right. All right, okay. That's cool. Ajay, what do you think? You think Cam has any shot of being with his Knicks team long term?
I think so. If he didn't, I think they would have got rid of him already. And I think, Ron, you said if they offer him $80 to $100 million, they lowball him. I don't think so at all. Because I think somebody just said he hasn't done anything yet in this league. So he probably get a $50 million offer maybe for 3 years or whatever, because he's still young. So he still has time to develop. That would be lowballing him. And that would be proportionate to what he's done in this league. Now, if this year he balls out and takes minute from RJ Barrett, which is very possible, then it's a different conversation. But right now, I do see him with the team. Just Tom Thibodeau's got to play ball, man. Tom Thibodeau's got to get on the same page as the front office. He's not. They need to sit him down and tell him, listen, this is what we have. This is what we're developing. This is what we're trying to play with. Find minutes for those guys. He needs to figure out a way to get those guys playing time. Don't ask me how. He's got $5 million a year to figure it out. Let him figure it.
Yeah, listen, I hear you on that. First off, let me just say this real quick. Hey guys, if you're here tuned in, smash that like button. Appreciate you. Got 114 people in here. I don't know how many likes. 75 likes, I think. So smash that like button. See if we can get to 100 before we get out of here. I appreciate it, man. Thank you guys as always. I just don't know, dude. What you're saying sounds right, Ajay. Before I get to you, D, what you're saying sounds right, but that's from our standpoint. You got to think about what Cam thinks about his game and who he is as a player. Don't forget, Cam came out in the RJ class. They were peers on the same Duke team. RJ just got 107 million, possibly upwards to 120. Has he done more than him? Yes. Okay. But Cam is going to be like, listen, man, I know RJ's game. I balled with this dude in Duke. I used to kick RJ's butt in practice. You're going to tell me that you offering me 50 million, you giving this guy double, if not a double and a half of what I'm worth? No way Cam is going for that. I'm telling you, even if he doesn't deserve it, he ain't going for it.
Can I throw?
I just wanted to respond to what he said.
RJ, listen, RJ and Zion came out the same class, and look at how much Zion's making. You figure RJ would be like, no way. You know, I played more minutes. This guy in 3 seasons, he ain't played a season worth of ball. This is what he got. Now the Knicks, you got to give me more. No, he took his $107 million and he's just keep balling. Right? You didn't think he would have. You would have never thought he would be to that, but he did.
Yeah, but RJ first. I mean, Zion was the first pick in the draft. It just I don't know.
But he ain't playing though. In 3 seasons he played like 84 games or something like that.
But in a healthy season, he looked like one of the most dominant power forwards ever when he did play. So they're banking on investing on an investment in potential.
And before, because I want to get to D and what he was going to say, RJ can say I'm a good player, but I think RJ knows, like he played with him. When Zion was with Duke and he was on, Zion got busy. RJ can't automatically say I'm better than Zion. Now, in his mind, he may feel like he's better than everybody, but like just the game, if Zion's healthy, Zion is a beast, right? Cam might look at RJ and say, you know what, RJ's a good player, but I know, like everybody knows, Cam's got hella skill. Cam could do so much. If Cam had the heart and intestinal fortitude that we wish he had and he stayed healthy, Cam could be the dude on the Knicks, but I don't know if we're ever gonna see that. He got that Kevin Knox heart. Sorry, Cam, but that's what he displays, man. He don't show me that he's a go-getter. Like I'm the best player on the court when I play. I don't see that from Cam. If Cam showed that, then I would say, listen, you know, we got to rock with Cam. We got to figure out how to get it done, and that's what I think Cam sees inside in himself, but it's not for us. It's not on display to everybody else, to the world. Go ahead, D.
Just real quick, that I'm trying to remember now. Okay, yeah. No, I lost it. It was something he said, Agile, that I was going to respond back to him. I lost it. Figured it.
Damn it.
Yeah, it's all right.
Well, maybe it'll come back. About comparing with the Zion and RJ and RJ Cam.
It was before. He said so before that, but you know that RJ, like I said, he got that money, bro, because that's what RJ is right now. And I'm gonna be nice with you. I'm gonna be real with you. I think they were being nice to him, and I think they gave him a contract based on where he can go. Because there could have been a chance that, let's say, for example, because RJ has been notoriously known for starting out slow and stuff like that. If he had a season, something like what he did last season, I don't see him getting a contract like that. So I'm thinking the Knicks might have actually done him a favor and not put him in that situation and already have him paid, nice and relaxed, come into a season and improve on your game. So.
Yep. I see everybody talking about Cam and Cam is smooth. Cam doesn't have a motor. Cam is this. Cam is that. And I agree. Everything you guys are saying is true. And I just think that Cam, that's the problem that we have on this Knicks team. And that's why I need it to play out. I need to see what we got for real, because it's, once again, it's not about whether or not we've seen them on the court play a couple minutes here or there. I need to see these guys in certain positions because I got to see where their game goes, where their mentality goes, how they act. I got to see if Obi can get mad, if Obi can get physical, if Obi can get aggressive in the paint, try to dunk on somebody. How does Obi respond when Obi starts to feel comfortable with his game? Can Obi take it to the next level and feel like he's the best guy on the court? Like, you want your guys to be special. Like you want something in these guys. That's what separates these guys from guys on other teams. They don't have to be the best player on the floor, but they have to think they might be the best player on the floor because it translates to how they play. Cam, let's just be 100% real here. Outside of Jalen Brunson, and I know how good Julius Randle is, what he can bring. Cam could be the best player on the Knicks if Cam has that mentality, does the work, and goes out there and just balls out. That smooth stuff that he is, he could be smooth. Kevin Durant is smooth, but you put Kevin Durant on the Knicks, he's the best player on this team, hands down. It's not even a thought. That's where you need to. Cam needs, his mentality needs to be that way. Cam needs something to push him to that next level because right now we don't see it. That's why he's in this purgatory. Cam should definitely be paid somewhere doing a lot of good things in the NBA, and we haven't seen it yet. That's all I'm saying.
And
guys.
It's going to be harder for him this year because RJ Barrett's going to be playing 35 minutes plus possibly. So
I agree.
Hey,
Yeah.
just a little pushback on the whole Cam narrative. Y'all ever seen the movie Fresh?
great movie.
A long time ago, yeah.
The kid who could ball, the kid who could hoop, who had the and y'all see how his demeanor was? Like he was quiet. Everybody else was doing the talking, and he was just smoking or torture, like without the emotion and everything. I feel like there's some people out there that's actually like that. And we just think it as, oh, this dude doesn't have any passion. Nah, like I think Cam is just one of those rare dudes who can smoke you without basically showing those emotions. He's one of those dudes. So like us as Knicks fans, we're attracted to passion. That's why a lot of us love Latrell Sprewell. That's why a lot of us love John Starks. That's why we love Patrick Ewing, because they have that passion. But I think Cam is just getting a bad rep. I really think he's just getting a bad rep. I feel like what you said about him and RJ, I think it's true. And I think had we drafted Cam Reddish and he was allowed to play through his mistakes, he was allowed to have 5-6 games of horrible games and still be able to get his minutes and play through those mistakes, then we would be having a different conversation.
I mean, Cam hasn't done him any favors either with the injury history and the lack of durability. So you got to put that into the equation as well.
That's true. Unfortunately, he has not been able to stay healthy consistently, which affects him. Because in fairness to Cam, that sucks. Because sometimes you finally feel like you got it going, and then you get that injury. Like Cam looked great in those Atlanta Hawks during that playoff run. He was playing really well for them. They needed him, and he stepped up. But that's probably, I could say that's the best I've ever seen Cam look. He was with them 3 years, right? And no, 2 years. Yeah, right, because he's with the Knicks this past year. Well, part of it, half and half, 2.5 years, and then a half year with the Knicks, right? So that one moment is when you saw the best of Cam. We haven't seen it since. We didn't see it before. Maybe he is trending upwards. Maybe now Cam is at that point, is a healthy Cam with minutes. Maybe we do see Cam ball out. So maybe it's true. Don P, maybe if Cam gets the minutes and he's healthy, we will see Cam get busy. But we got to see it first. I haven't seen it yet, and I need to see some fire. It's okay. You could be smooth and all that. You could be too cool for school. Like I said, Kevin Durant does everything smooth. He looks like he's that way, but he got fire in his belly. You see Kevin Durant be barking at people sometimes. This is who he is. It just looks smooth. So Cam needs to get some of that. He needs to get some fire in his belly, man. I don't care if in practice him and RJ are going at it. That's his boy, whatever, sort of. Even if they're going at it, he needs to show something. That's all I'm saying. I wouldn't say that. It's not like I don't like Cam. I would say the same thing for Obi, and I like Obi. Obi needs to show me some fire in his belly, man. I can't see him laughing and almost getting dunked on by something. Yeah, I don't want to see all that. I need Cam and Obi to both get busy. Get some fire, some fire in your belly. Yes. Right. Well, let me shout out one more person. I see Wild Boy Trey in the building. He said Cam is better than RJ when he's on his game. I agree with that. I think when Cam is playing, Cam is a special talent. And you can ask all guys around the league, guys who now we look at and say, this guy's special. You hear Anthony Edwards in that little video talking about how Cam lit him up. Cam could be that dude, but he just doesn't look like it right now to me, to be honest. So yeah, man, I'm gonna get the final words and get up out of here. But I want to thank everybody for being with us. I appreciate y'all. Today's show was rocking. It wasn't as bad as I thought it might be, because at least I hope everybody understands. I'm happy with where the Knicks are. I'm happy with the fact that we got the young guys still here, that we can see what they got. I'm just not happy that it looks like our front office was trying to go get somebody and they didn't get them. That's all I'm saying. And I'm worried about that going forward. So let me go. Ajay, what any final words, brother?
Final words, just like you, man. I don't mind that we did. I don't mind where we are right now. I mean, yeah, I'd be happy if we get Donovan Mitchell, but definitely not for the first package they offered, like of Obi, RJ, and Mitch, and 3 first round. I'm glad that didn't go down. But like you said, let's not overrate our front office. Like right now, we're calling Leon Rose the Don. Danny Ainge looks more like a Don than Leon Rose right now, because he took 3 players and he changed it. Like he swapped them for, like, I don't know, like a whole farm, like a 10-year future down the line, good stuff. So right now, the Don is not looking like the Don. I'm sorry. I'm not saying he's not, but he's just not looking like it right now.
Facts. Hey, and listen, if you haven't hit that like button, your live chat button, if you're watching on your phone, just click the live chat so it goes away. Hit that like button and then hit the live chat back, man. You come right back. 2 seconds. Appreciate you guys. Don P, any final words?
Yeah, I just want to see the kids play. I want to see the kids develop. To me, I won't be like disappointed if we do have a losing season. I want to see the kids get minutes and just have a fair chance to evaluate who's it and who's not. That's all.
Okay. All right, I respect it. What's going on? The final words, brother?
Yeah.
And also, are you going on tomorrow?
Yeah, I was going to do all that. I got
Okay,
you. Thank
cool.
you, though. I appreciate that. So first and foremost, thank you for the chat. Thank you for you guys' interaction. Thank you for the panel that came in today as well and gave us their thoughts, their feelings, and perspectives as well. I'm going to leave it at this, Ron. And I promise I won't be too long-winded.
Go ahead, brother.
Keith Turner, and people give him crap, but Keith is on fire today, bro. He is 100% right about all this. And this is what it boils down to. What the hell are we? What are we? What is our identity? What is our DNA? What is our vision? Does everybody share the same vision in the organization? People want a star. We don't have culture, bro. As CAA said, he used the adjective for it. We don't have a system of what it is of 1 to 15 in draft picks and trade guys coming in and knowing exactly what it is when they step to the door and what is expected of them. It's not established. So this is why I'm hopeful, right? And it is hopeful. This is purely on a strand of thin rope. The front office has the opportunity this season to show what the hell are you? What direction you're going in? What is your vision? Is everybody on board? And if that, stick to that and just work that. I think they should be going towards a developmental vision. Why? Because everything's laid out there for you to do it. Julius Randle, I'm sorry, guys, is not bringing you to a chip. I'm sorry. Jalen Brunson, I love Jalen Brunson, but he ain't a tier 1 guy. I think RJ Barrett's cool, but RJ Barrett has a lot to prove to me that he's going to be a star in this league, which I don't think he's going to be. So if you don't have those pillars, if you don't have that thing already established, then you have to establish it. And by establishing it is getting the right guys that are going to go ahead and fit in your system inside your parameters of what you call your organization, and you build it. And the front office has a perfect opportunity to do that right now. if they choose the latter and go towards a funky retool, we're always in the middle of the pack. We're making play-ins. We're getting 12, 13, 14 lottery picks. With all those assets and the potential of the young core, that's a bad direction. And although at least it'll be a direction, at least I know, and then I can spend a whole year bad-mouthing it to death, which is good. That's good for views and that's good for material. I'll never be bored. But at least you got to do that. And if you're not going to do that, then you got to get fired. Then it might see, I have my torches and pitchforks for each scenario. And if they're doing that crap, they got to be fired. You go ahead and get all that draft capital and you don't even go to utilize it. You can only bring a star here when the star has a reason to come here.
Mm-hmm.
Not to go ahead and bring it in and start searching through the ends of the earth for the next star. That's bad money, bro. You just wasted time and you wasted money. So that's why I end with that. But yeah, I'm going to be on tomorrow, Ron. I'm going to be on at 12. I'm just going to kick it with you guys. We're going to talk about culture. We're going to talk about all these beautiful things. Any questions you guys have, we could do that. It's more like a freestyle thing. So yeah, I'll definitely be on tomorrow at 12. And I think we're good. Thanks, Ron.
No problem, man.
Watching the Randle thing. Shout out.
Yeah. Thank you guys. Shout out to Julian Blum. I think I said hello to you earlier, but if I didn't, Julian, appreciate you, brother. Yeah, man. I don't think I have to say any more about it. You guys know where I stand on it. I think we're gonna be okay. I don't think it, as Knicks fans, yes, this is another year where we're not gonna do much, but we could still improve. Things could still get better. We could still be in a position where we understand our roster a lot better, and going forward, this Knicks organization understands what we need to fix the roster. By finally saying these young kids need to play substantial minutes and be in substantial situations in order to improve. How do they act when they're in late game situations going up against the stars of the other team? How do these players come out of it? How does Obi react? Can Obi improve on the defensive end? Will he stop people? Can he work on his blocking shots? Can Obi become a better offensive player in the half-court scenario when we really need a bucket? Does he have a go-to move that he's working on, that he's learning? Like, just whatever it is. It's not all about Obi, but that's a piece of it. How does Quickly respond? How does Grimes respond? We got to take a look at all of that. It's like I said, it's not about them playing. We know they've played. We need them to play a little bit more and to be in bigger, more impactful situations where we can see what they're made of. Let's get in there. Let's start to really dig deep and evaluate these guys. And also, even though RJ got the money, it's still a show and prove for RJ. RJ needs to show that he's one of the pieces here. He's got to step up. He's got to improve efficiency-wise. And even though we don't need him to be a savior, we need Jalen Brunson just to be Jalen Brunson. Jalen Brunson comes here and plays like he's been playing. The Knicks are going to be better. Some of these guys are going to get better too because of how he plays. So I think that's what we can look forward to, man. It is what it is. Thank you guys for rocking with us and being here. Shout out to Ajay for joining, Don P for being here, Dan for jumping in. Shout out to Marvin for spending some time with us. And of course, D, as always, appreciate you for being here and rocking with us. I thank you. Thank you to the chat. Thank you to all the newcomers who popped into the chat. Appreciate you. If it's your first time watching the show, thank you for being here. Hopefully you enjoyed the content. It's not always doom and gloom. We do love our Knicks, and regardless of whatever happens.
Hey, yo, shout out to all of y'all, man.
Still Knicks fans. That's right. We still Knicks fans, guys. Regardless of whatever happens. That's right. We still here. So remember that. This is our team, and we're going to be here throughout everything, through the long haul, man, because you know what? We love our squad. It is what it is. We've seen worse, and hopefully we're on the way to better. Hopefully. All right, y'all. Thank y'all for being here and rocking.
All right,
Look
fellas.
at that. 3 hours and 20 plus minutes. We did it. We did it, folks.
Piece of cake.
Once again,
Record
another one
breaking.
knocked out. There you go. All right, y'all. I'll
All right,
catch you on
fellas.
the next one. Tune in to this Monday's show, Still Knicks Fans Weekly. I think we're going to have the guys from the Guard Up Knicks show. If not all of them, we'll definitely have a couple of them or something like that. So definitely tune in and give these guys a shout out too, man. They're another podcast in the Knicks community. They need the love and the eyes on their stuff too, man. We got to respect and champion all of our fellow podcasters. So tune into that. That's Monday at 9 p.m. That should be another good one. So take care, y'all. Have a great rest of your Saturday. Do something fun. I think if you're on the East Coast, New York side of things, Jersey, whatever, it's going to rain tomorrow. Do something fun today. All right. Later, y'all.
All right,
Peace
y'all.
out.
Peace.